Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Bruins snapped a 5-game losing streak yesterday with a 3-2 win in Columbus. Top draft pick James Higgins had an assist in his NHL debut, and Mark Kastelik's goal with 9:30 left was the difference. Marco Sturm also saw Jonas Korpisalo add 33 saves in net against one of his former teams.
We needed him. He probably wanted the first goal back a little bit. Not about the goal. I think he had it and he lost it. But other than that, he was rock solid again. So I'm glad to have a win here in his former team, against his former team.
Bruins lead Ottawa by 1 point now for the top wildcard spot in the East. They wrap up their regular season tomorrow night against New Jersey. The Celtics sat 8 players, but they still wrapped up their regular season with a win, 113-108 over Orlando at TD Garden. Baylor Shireman, a career-high 30 points for the Green. They win 56 games. They're the 2 seed in the East. They'll host either Philadelphia or the Magic in round 1 on Sunday at 1. The 76ers host Orlando in the 7-8 play-in game on Wednesday night. ESPN is reporting Milwaukee head coach Doc Rivers will indeed not be back next season. Red Sox wound up with 2 wins in 3 games in St. Louis over the weekend by beating the Cardinals yesterday 9-3. Brian Bayo, 6 2/3 solid innings for the win. Wilson Contreras, a 2-run homer and 3 RBIs. Sox have won 4 of 5 overall. They're in Minnesota tonight. And Rory McIlroy held off a late charge from Scotty Scheffler to win his 2nd consecutive Masters by 1 shot. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured, not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Diving effort. He's got a breakaway. Goes to the backhand. Throws it in front. Coming to the spot. The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
You might hate me, but you're listening.
and Hardy
Don't bother me. I'm at the Pickle Palace.
on 98.5.
I know what I'm capable of.
He said something about peanut butter, right?
Yeah. Boning, baby. Make America nut again.
That's gross. That's disgusting.
Let's talk about cheese.
What are you going to have for lunch?
I was at dinner with my wife and a friend.
Kitty, kitty, pussy, kitty, kitty, kitty. Flap, flap, flap.
Shut up, I'm trying to talk to Paul.
Toucher and Hardy
Good luck trying to put your finger in it when there's a million holes.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are the show by name of Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube, subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and get involved in that. Yep, that is true. 617-779-0985, Town Fair Tire Studios. As always, a big show on the way today as we get ready for the playoffs to start in various sports.
Okay.
And including basketball, which will start in 6 years.
That's right. Wrap up the regular season, and they'll get underway here second week of May.
I'm telling you, come on now. Playing games start tomorrow night.
So I am going to the Bahamas with my daughter on Sunday. And so that's a long time from now. That's, and the Celtics play the day I leave.
Yes.
So you got that going for you. Is the day I leave is when they will be playing basketball again.
Right. And it doesn't seem like you're leaving for vacation tomorrow. It seems like a long way off because it is. It's a week from now.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone stole my beast.
Oh, it's right here.
Is that yours or mine? Oh, did someone was screwing around with my beast?
Yeah. Well, you leave it here.
I don't like that. The beast is of course, the Athletics Dane Brugler extensive draft guide, and it was sent to Hardy and I in a physical copy. But I mean, it's probably weighs What do you think, 5 pounds? I'm not carrying that around. I mean, legitimately 5 pounds, so I'm not carrying it around. So I left it in studio. That's not to be taken.
I put mine in my backpack to take it home over the weekend, where it has sat on my kitchen counter ever since then.
How'd that feel, carting that thing home?
I think I had a pinched nerve until about yesterday around noontime from just slinging it over my shoulder on Friday.
Yeah, it's not ideal. So I have to leave it in studio so I can, reference it when I needed to.
Smart.
Yeah, I'm going to need to have to reference it several times.
Yeah, it's good.
A show, but now you can't even trust anyone.
See, I thought maybe you were waist deep in the Beast hard copy over the weekend, and that is what prevented you from calling into the Sports Hub Golf Club yesterday morning. I thought maybe you would, just kind of lost track of time Saturday night, maybe even Sunday morning. You woke up and immediately just flipped open to where you left off in the middle of the Beast, because you read it like a novel. You just go from the first page to the very end.
Well, yeah, or you'll get lost. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Sports Club Golf Show started Masters Weekend. It is the one a year Hardy does live.
It's untrue.
The Golf Club.
It'll be live for all 4 majors.
Even the PGA.
Sure.
Is it the lowest rated show, or is that when you have which greenskeeper
There's no
that
rating.
you have on is the lowest rated?
That is an unrated day part.
Oh, I find that hard to believe. So it said 7 a.m.
7 a.m. yesterday morning, and we had and took phone calls.
Wow.
It was fantastic.
Full phone lines?
It was full. 2 or 3.
There's not full phone lines. There's no one on the phone right now, let alone 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
People, during Masters weekend, it's time to get out and play. Figured there'd be a lot of people in the car heading over to the course. Course.
There were just people who were up. It has nothing to do with where they were going or what they were doing or whether or not it was convenient for them, John. You just had people tuning in and then calling in because the show was back on the air for its 14th season.
How long did you go straight without stopping? How much did you have in the tank after you had to have had a lot in the tank with the big off season? I mean, did you come in fit to be tied? Did you come in with a lot off the top of the head?
I could have gone, a week's worth of shows without even mentioning the Masters. But instead, what I did was just focused in on the Masters. That's all we talked about for the entire hour. And, we'll get into all the off-season stuff starting 6 days from now. We'll do it all again.
Well, who will be the first guest?
I believe Chris Forsberg and I will be recapping the Masters. Now, he doesn't know this yet, but I will be reaching out to him today, and we'll do a Masters recap. We'll probably get that in the can next day or two while it's still fresh in our minds.
Carrie has a good question. Carrie, hello.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Oh, Carrie loves to call in early. Hello, Carrie. What's going on?
Hey, well, Hardy, I just wanted to ask you, why is there only live golf club shows, when you do with the Masters there? I mean, how come not every week? I think that I'd like to contribute,
Well, because a lot of the Sports Hub Golf Club, in order to give the audience the best possible program, involves interviews and instruction, and those are recorded during the week. So, if you're lucky enough to, let's just say get a segment with Dan Boisvert, who's going to, teach you, the finer points of chipping, or, you're going to get, some golf training instruction from Paul Gazbekian. These guys, they can't be getting up at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning to do it live.
So what will happen is you'll come on, do the show live, then introduce the guest, play that tape segment, come out of that, take live phone calls.
I could. Yeah, we might be able to work that in a few times throughout the season, sure.
But what Carrie's asking is why don't you do it live? Is you're saying because you'll tape guests?
Yes.
But what about? But there'll be hour-long guests.
No, you'll have multiple guests on one show.
Oh. What's the maximum amount of greenskeepers to have on a show at one point?
So we had 3 plus, but it was on a Zoom call.
Oh, it was like a round table.
Yeah, what? It was an Algonquin round table.
Right.
But these guys, they've got different ideas and different philosophies. It's like you might do it that way over at Fresh Pond, but over here we do things a little bit differently. And there's some good-natured ribbing back and forth.
Yeah. Are there guys you have to keep away from each other?
That's right. You disagree with how to maintain the rough on the third hole.
Like
go at each other.
It's like
too combustible.
It's like seating at a wedding. You have to be very careful. You don't want the guy from the former assistant super from Blue Hill on the same show with the guy from LeBaron. It's like, ugh, there's some history there.
Well, listen, it's exciting. Was it exciting to be back?
It was, and it was a good show, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the Masters, not necessarily breaking down shot for shot, but some of the people who made fools of themselves over the weekend. But it was exciting to talk about yesterday morning when we're looking at the leaderboard, and it's like, okay, we've got something to watch today, because as of Friday night, I thought that thing was over, and it ended up being correct in terms of who won it. But when Rory had a 6-shot lead after the first 2 rounds, I thought it had screwed up my weekend plans entirely. Thank goodness he spit the bit on Saturday and gave us something to watch on Sunday.
Yeah. Thank God. Because what else would you have done?
Exactly.
Dan, go ahead.
I'll tell you what I did, though.
I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone this weekend. I was playing video games online with people around the country, and someone had their microphone on and was listening to Eddie Trunk in the background. And I said to myself, I know that voice. What is that? And as soon as he said the band Rat, I was like, oh, my God, that's Eddie Trunk. This show follows me on the weekend. I can't believe it. It was very odd.
Yeah, you probably heard Eddie's interview with Kip Winger, who's now got a classical project. And Eddie immediately admits that he's out of his depth there. He doesn't really like classical music, but he respects Kip for doing it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that's right, Eddie. So, Dan, maybe that's what you heard, because I'd imagine if they did a best of, they wouldn't replay the Free For All Friday. I could be wrong. Probably play a little bit of the Kip Winger interview. If you follow him on Instagram, you can see Kip. He zooms in. The two of them are just shooting the breeze about stuff and the classical music that Kip's got going on.
What video game is being played by somebody who is a fan of Eddie Trunk? Is this like an online asteroids tournament? Are they playing Stargate? Defender?
Defender's tough.
Donkey Kong?
I hated that game.
Yeah, he's just on a landline at an arcade. He's playing pinball. He's playing the Kiss pinball machine.
So I'm doing my online joust tournament over the weekend. And
Dig Dug.
We're doing burger time like a tournament. This guy was into Eddie Trunk. Go figure.
Yeah, the root beer one where they got to fill up the root beers.
Tapper? Is that what that is?
I can't.
That might be with beer.
That was
I don't
beer.
know.
I think that was sponsored by Budweiser.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, no, but the Nintendo one was root beer. They
okay.
had it was like Soda Popinski instead of vodka drunk Russian guy that they did. Blind Scott sent maybe a record amount of emails over the weekend.
Oh, good. All right.
I mean, I haven't counted them up, nor do I care to, but I'm talking about maybe 100 over the weekend. Blind Scott, you had a lot to say this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember what the emails were about, but I was on the golf show yesterday. Hardy, by the way, you haven't got the podcast up yet.
Blind Scott, he took you on the air at the golf show. That's how many calls he was getting.
We had Blind Scott. We had Mark in Medford.
Oh,
we had
nice.
it was a Murderer's Row.
Yeah, so Hardy, you ever got the podcast up, the Sports Hub Golf Club podcast? I have to listen to my call again to recap it. I thought the show went pretty well. The call format worked pretty well. You were going to call the show originally putt from the rough, so he seemed a little nervous to take my call, actually. And, on Sunday morning, we should be able to let it fly a little bit. We're a bunch of guys just headed to the golf course, you know what I'm saying? Dude, one other thing, Hardy, when's the Frisbee golf season starting? Because a lot of people are interested in Frisbee golf now. Can we do a Frisbee golf show after the golf show?
No.
Dude, whenever I call, there's competition with other callers. They call right after all these punks showed up just that didn't care about Hardy's golf show. They just wanted to compete with Blind Scott. Hardy, you should just let me do the show, the golf show. I can do it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do all these radio jobs, man.
Yes. Good.
Blind Scott,
Start this Sunday.
Do you really not remember what you were emailing me about? Because you sent probably about.
I forget what I was emailing. I was emailing Ed. Oh no, it was those guys. Yeah, it was those guys that came with the Yankees Sucks shirt. I knew those guys. I used to sell those guys glow when they hung around the North End. But yeah, it triggered all these memories. So I was it took me back to the old days, like back when the days used to be the real days in Boston, back before the times aren't like they are now. Like when all those dudes weren't that angry, they used to have sex with women around town. Like the guys in their 50s, they were like normal back then, Like it took me back to those times when the Red Sox were the Red Sox and people actually cared about people and they hung out at Lansdowne and we all got together. And
Blind Scott, you went through about a 15 email thing about your predictions for my dating life.
Yeah, so I do. I could go through them right now. So since Fred's father-in-law passed away, it's been, I haven't been able to mention it, but I think it opens up a little bit of talk about what happened in Fred's marriage. His father-in-law used to beat the crap out of Fred mentally. You know what I mean? Picked on him. He bullied. Oh, my God, I was talking my bong over. He bullied him. He picked on him. He used his money against him. Mentally broke the guy down. I think this clears the way for Fred mentally now. He's a better father. He spends a lot of money on education for that young kid, And that's a big thing to say.
That was.
Oh yeah, we're going back to.
Gives them a chance to expand a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, you're expanding. Okay.
Yeah, we're going through the emails. The problem with the emails, Fred, is your daughter. You have a daughter. So your father who has a daughter. Women don't want to have sex with guys like you have daughters. It's just
It's true. Scott, a little bit more on that. Why is it that women don't want to have? Why?
Well, you mentioned my daughter, so I thought Blind Scott talking about my daughter might not be the best thing in the world. So I hung
want to
up.
Explore that a little bit more. Women don't want to have sex with men who have daughters.
That's right. I don't know if more of an opposite thing could ever be said in the entire world than women don't want to have
Women don't want to have sex with men who have good relationships with their mothers. What? No.
No. I can assure you this, that if you have a good relationship with your daughter, that is a huge green light for women. I can assure you of that.
I think it's just a green light for anyone who wants to be even friends with you.
He's starting to talk about himself in the third person now. I don't know, man.
He sent
boy.
I can't. I mean, I obviously don't read them, but like a couple caught my eye, and he was like, "You're gonna get back together with your ex-wife," but then he had theories that I was gonna get together with these other women. It was he had a whole situation happening.
He sent me a bunch too. Fred should let you take some of these autistic people with sensory disorders to his country club, like preferably young people like that are in their early 20s to get a feel, and it cuts off. Because again, all Blind Scott emails are subject line only, nothing in the body of the email.
No, you can, even through just visually, you can hear him yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Women don't want to date men with daughters.
That's true.
That is true. Never a bigger red flag.
So I did have time to kill yesterday, though, Fred, before the start of the final round, and I was antsy. I was itchy. It was, we got a packed leaderboard, and I had to do something to take my mind off of it. And while it was a little chilly yesterday, it was brisk in the morning, and there was a bit of a breeze, I said, something feels right about the date and maybe the sun being out and just the weather was right. to make a big move, and that was taking the Jazzminton from the basement and taking it outside.
Whoa.
So I said to the boy who came down, he said, what do we have here for lunch? I said, what we have is Jazzminton outside, and then you and I will go get lunch. And he was all about it.
Oh, nice.
And we could have put it in the backyard, but why not put it in the front yard, especially when the house across the street and down one was having an open house? I said, let's give these people a show as these people have put their home on the market and they're trying to sell. I said, let's give the neighborhood an idea of what's going to be happening.
Well, if that was the case, you should have gone over there and just talked to everybody and asked about the house.
Two neighbors moving. Strange. I wonder. I wonder if the key party got out of hand and feelings people started.
Who else is moving?
Catching feelings.
What's the password?
There's only one neighbor moving.
You said the house across the street and the house next
no, across and down one. That's the house I'm talking about. It wasn't directly across.
Oh, I thought you said two people were moving.
No.
And then it was like, there was an affair that went out of hand.
Now, look, in my defense, I did not know they were having an open house on Sunday.
Well, there's nothing wrong with playing a game that no one enjoys in your front yard. I mean, that's not going to. What are you not? That's not a negative on the neighborhood that a man is making his son do something he doesn't want to do. How much Jazzminton have you played in that basement of yours?
Since we got it?
No, since before you got it. No. Yeah, since you got it.
No, I like since, let's say, a week after Christmas.
Yeah.
Not a ton.
Yeah. You think I was being negative, and fair enough, I can be negative. Jazzminton, not a good game. That is in no way.
You gotta take it outside. You really gotta dig into that bag and find the heavier shuttlecocks and find the ones that are right for the wind. And let me tell you something else, Freddie. In that bag, there is a long piece of orange string. There's actually about 4 of them. And what you do is you put a border around you create your own Jazzminton court. So it's not just about whacking it through the opening in the middle. You have to keep the shuttlecock in bounds.
Oh, now that sounds fun.
It is. It added a new element to the game that was lost on us inside.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, listen, a lot going on. We can all enjoy now knowing that the 98.5 The Golf Club is back. I apologize. I forgot. I was not up at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, unfortunately. I did not have anything I had to do that early in the morning, so I apologize. And it just passed me. And I had not seen any of the Masters, except for when Scheffler was in that tree, and I was wondering how long they were going to show him dicking around in the tree.
Well, you'll be able to make it up to me and everyone else the weekend of the PGA Championship.
Sure. I saw McIlroy hit the putt. I did see that.
The winning putt?
The winning putt. Wow, I saw that live.
The most anticlimactic moment of an anticlimactic weekend.
The tap in that somehow the camera couldn't catch.
Yeah, what the hell was going on with that? They shot it from behind.
A lot of mistakes on that last hole.
A lot of mistakes
overall.
On that hole.
Yeah,
not a great broadcast.
No, not at all.
No, they need to overhaul that thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Can't have a guy with a handheld run out in the front of the green.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, because if you don't know what we're talking about, just 2 seconds. So McIlroy, he just needs to bogey to win the tournament.
Right.
So he has like what would you say, like 12-foot putt. He gets it within like an inch of the hole. So then he like crouches down and gets weepy because he's won the Masters but he's waiting for the other guy to hole out. So or to putt and the guy makes his putt. So McIlroy then puts his ball down and then knocks the ball in, but you would assume he would because it was an inch away, but you don't see that. You see the back of him, And you don't see him put the ball down. You don't see him touch the ball. You don't see any of that. You would think that you would want to see the ball go into the hole just for the satisfaction of seeing the last shot that won the Masters. They don't show that. It was very odd. Thank you for mentioning that. That was extraordinarily odd. And it's like he's right-handed, too.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how they didn't have anyone in position.
They had plenty of time to get the camera, any camera in the correct position.
Because you understand what I'm saying, he's right-handed. Because if he's like left-handed, maybe you're in position to like show people that are right. I don't know. I was trying to think of any explanation for it, but none. So yes,
no, they've got that static, a couple of static cameras behind 18, and that's what you get. Nope. No one else going out in front. No one else is going to run over there with a handheld. And you watch like what Major League Baseball is doing with the Apple games, and they switch to people in the crowd who are shooting on their iPhones, and it looks great. So awesome. Different views, different. No, not CBS, not the Masters. No, we've set up in this tower, in this spot behind 18 for 40 years. And we're going to keep doing it that way. Great.
All right. Well, we will be back and catch up with everything that happened last night.
Toucher and
and Hardy.
This country's a bunch of buffoons that don't know the rules.
You idiot. The Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night's brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happens, so change your lettuce and change your life. With Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Big time doings as regular seasons are winding down and summer just getting started.
Hey, how about that? And the Bruins did, in fact, wrap up their regular season with a visit to the Blue Jackets yesterday. James Hagens called up to the big club on Friday, Thursday, end of last week. When's he going to? Oh, they got back-to-backs. Is he going to play? Is he going to play that first game he was up? No, not ready. Not ready, said Marco Sturm.
Well, they were waiting, obviously, for to clinch the playoffs, it seemed, because by no actions of their own, they were able to clinch a playoff berth before yesterday because they had, lost 5 in a row. Some of those, in fairness, were in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But they then did sneak into the playoffs, and now, look, we can rest some of our stars like a Lindholm, like a McAvoy. We can rest certain players, and God bless them all.
And we can put Hagens on the ice, and he can be loose. He can go out there and start doing his thing.
From that far circle, the Hagens one-timer. And the stop made by Greaves hangs on to it.
All right, he's throwing shots on goal, seeing what's what. And it would be 1-1 after the first period. Second period, with the score tied at 1. End of the second.
Hagens into the near corner against Matejchuk. Able to help win that battle. Corrali got it back out in front. Here's shot, score! Yoki Haru from the right circle. And the Bruins grab the lead with 18.6 to go here in the second.
Yeah, screen in front. Corrali helps out. Hagens might get his first NHL point here.
He did.
Yeah.
He did indeed.
Yoki Haru sounds like an anime character.
Yes.
But, so Hagens against the wall, a nifty little like kick, like a skate kick or something to get the puck free.
On the forecheck.
Yeah, on the forecheck. Yeah.
Down there digging, getting into the dirty areas.
And he makes a nifty little play, and that ends up leading to a goal, and he gets his assist. So there you go, James Hagens. Congratulations.
Blue Jackets would tie it up a minute and a half into the third. It would be about midway through the third before the game would be decided.
Penalty coming
up after a battle in front. Shot off the end wall. Corrali keeps it alive. Castlewick near circle. Scores! With the delayed penalty, Mark Castlewick shoots it from the bottom of the left circle and scores to make it a 3-2 Bruins lead.
And that would be your final as the Bruins get a win in their final regular season game over the Blue Jackets 3-2.
They got one game left.
Excuse me, tomorrow night?
Yes.
Yeah, Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey, sorry.
I would like
I'm all wound up, with these seasons finishing up. Celtics, are they done? Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bruins,
Yes.
they got one.
Well, how dare you not know that the meaningless game is going on? And it's meaningless in that the Bruins are in the playoffs, so it's a good thing that it's meaningless. What is the thought on, Pastrnak played last night. You had Elias Lindholm play last night. You had Geeky play last night. Maybe they don't play.
Yeah, if I'm Sturm, obviously you can't rest everyone at once, but it seemed to me, Fred, that they were doing it in shifts. You had McAvoy, Lindholm, Arvidsson, Zacha down yesterday. So you sit Pastrnak and a couple other guys tomorrow.
I'm not sure I would play Lindholm, not Elias Lindholm. I wouldn't play Hampus Lindholm in that game either. Because he is susceptible to not handling playing hockey well. So maybe it's better if you just err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Now, do we know when the playoffs will start?
I think it's this weekend. If I had to bet, it would be Saturday because the Celtics play on Sunday.
So here's maybe the more important question: who do you stick in goal tomorrow? Korpisalo got the game yesterday. Do you just say, all right, Korpisalo, you get it again, or do you not want Swayman to have that much time off in between starts?
I don't know. If you're Marco Sturm,
come up with an opinion, Sean.
Can you really wait 6 days between starts?
No. You got to play Swayman in the last game because the Bruins finish up, but then there's games on Wednesday. So it probably would be the weekend. So you'd probably have to play Swayman.
I would put Swayman in tomorrow night.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can give him a week off between starts. And I wonder if they'll play Korpisalo in the playoffs at all.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But if
Swayman, this was the deal. Swayman's your number one guy. This was the argument you had before with Omar here, and I guess did Swayman overtake him and just play better, and they played him more? Swayman's played really well this year.
Well, there's games on Thursday, too. Okay, so the regular season for the NHL ends on Thursday. Tuesday for the Bruins, Thursday for the rest of the league, or some of the rest of the league. So you're right. So I can see why Rick might have been a little concerned about when school break is, considering that the NBA playoffs, the draft, and the NHL playoffs are all starting while we're all gone.
Yeah.
Maybe
what do you mean all? All the radio station.
Yeah, almost everyone entirely on the radio station. Now, I have a contract that I have to have the time. Not a contract with work, a divorce contract this is my week to take my daughter on her spring break for as long as she wants me to. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But certainly this year I will be gone, and I miss the Patriots. They have a whatever pick in the first round, but I do enjoy the day after the draft. I would like to do that. Rick asked me to call in one year. I found it very flattering.
There you go.
Was it last year that he asked me to call in? What, last year, or the year before that, he asked me to call in.
I don't remember.
And I called in, and I said, everyone take a seat, turn off your mics, and let Daddy cook.
Well, this is the first year, I would say, in the last, 5, where it's probably not necessary to have all hands on deck for the day after the Patriots' first-round pick.
Yeah.
No.
They're going to trade back anyway, so no pick in the first round.
I don't know if you're going to be able to trade out of that pick. Because something interesting that I read was that if the most coveted pick around that time in the draft it would be the last pick in the first round or the first pick in the second round. And the reason for that is because the way the draft is now, which sucks, is that it's Thursday night is just the first round. So teams convene obviously after the first round is over, and they get themselves all hot and bothered about a particular player, and then they have all that time, they have 16 hours or whatever to move. So they frantically want that first pick in the second round. So it would seem that might not be the pick that gets traded. Now, obviously it could be, and obviously they are, but I guess if you have the first pick in the second round, that's a pick that's pretty easy to move out of, because you got that time to fall in love with a guy or reassess your draft board and look around and go, oh, we have so-and-so ranked so far and away above everyone else that it would be like a travesty if we can't get this person. Mm-hmm. And usually the person with the first pick in the second round is horrible, such is the case this year. And it is the New York Jets. And so I'm sure they would be more than happy to move out of that pick and acquire more picks. So, but now watch, the Patriots will make some blockbuster deal. So there you go. All right, let's take a break. We still have the Celtics. By the way, how did Duke not win the national championship last year?
you have Flagg and Knippel torching everybody, and yet somehow they couldn't figure out a way to inbound the basketball when pressed against Houston last year.
Knippel is, and Houston's not exactly stacked with NBA players, and Knippel is shooting like 50% from three.
Yeah.
For like the season.
So what was the stat that he's already made as many 3-pointers this season as it took Ray Allen was like 8 years into his career?
Ray Allen's
many threes.
I think the stat was Ray Allen. Knippel has hit more threes than Ray Allen's best season of hitting threes. And he's shooting, I think it's 43% from three this year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the stat you sent out, right? Like it's better than Ray Allen ever sent.
Yeah. Ray Allen, the all-time leader in made threes. Oh, no, Steph Curry passed him, but he's second.
And you tell me Knippel and Cooper Flagg were on the same team?
Yep, same team.
Well, they must have gone undefeated and won the national championship.
No, somehow they couldn't figure out a way to beat the Houston Press, and they blew a big lead in the Final Four.
Yeah, two kids that are playing at an extraordinarily high level in the NBA could not win the national championship together. Odd. All right, and but in fairness, it was just the two of them. It was like Rutgers with those two kids. They had no one else around them.
To be worse, you could have been the Fab Five, not been able to win anything.
Yeah,
they were close,
but none of them came out after. None of them came out after the freshman year, though. So, but they did lose as sophomores as well. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Good news all over the place for the local teams yesterday. Bruins got a goal and 2 assists from Sean Corrali. They beat Columbus 3-2. James Hagan's an assist in his NHL debut. Bruins wrap up their regular season tomorrow night at home against New Jersey. Celtics sat 8 players, but they still won their final game of the regular season, 113-108 over Orlando at TD Garden. Baylor Shireman, a career-high 30 points. Next up, round 1 of the playoffs coming up on Sunday at 1. The Celtics play either the Magic or Philadelphia. Orlando and the 76ers play their play-in game on Wednesday night in Philadelphia. Red Sox beat St. Louis 9-3. They are 6-9 on the season. The road trip continues in Minnesota tonight. And Rory McIlroy won his 2nd consecutive Masters. He beat Scotty Scheffler by 1 shot. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Freedom Boat Club. Don't buy a boat this summer. Join Freedom Boat Club. Enjoy unlimited usage of boats at 21 prime locations from the North Shore to P-Town. Go to freedomboatclub.com today. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
we're Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what else happened last night?
Celtics were playing last night, and you want to talk about a lineup. Oof. Oh, starters out there. It was a who's who of the NBA.
Ron Harper dribbling behind his back. Batazzi pulls away, so Harper takes another three and buries it. On the other hand, maybe I'll stick with my original pick of Harper. He's got 10 in the first 8+ minutes. We're tied at 18.
That's right. You heard me right. Ron Harper Jr. out there starting for the Celtics last night. There were some more household names who were getting it done, old school style.
Entry Garza to Shireman. Shireman against Suggs. Goes to a crazy scoop shot from his knees. Harlem Globetrotter style. He scoops it over Suggs off the glass and in.
No hook shot. Shireman had an out-of-body experience in the third quarter.
Hell yeah.
He had guys on top of him, and he was draining threes over him. It was just one of those days for Baylor Shireman.
He's gone on a mission to make himself as unattractive as possible.
Had the mullet and the stringy mustache. Yeah, he's on the way.
And like awful tattoos.
Yeah.
He's got everything going for him. He wears the dumb shirt. He's got a lot of going on.
Here's a legitimate question, Fred. You ever heard of this guy?
Kick out of the last second. Shulga open for three. Got it.
Nice.
His first bucket tonight in his first NBA start.
No, I've never heard of him.
Max Shulga.
Yep. Max Shulga.
Yep. 18 minutes last night, 3 points.
There it is. Those were the three right there.
It was. I'm looking him up. It was a revenge game against the team that took him. I guess he was drafted by Orlando.
Shulga out of VCU, two-way player. Sure.
Love it. En route to a 113-108 victory over the Magic. So that's a little nail in the coffin there of the regular season for the Celtics. And
Orlando had something to play for in that game. It was incredible if you cared about it. It was Orlando needed to win to get home court advantage in that play-in game, the 7-8 play-in game against Philadelphia. Had they won that game, they would have had it. And these guys, the Celtics sat 8 players. They had 7 players available for the game, and they went out and won.
I did.
Let Ron Harper Jr. and Luka Garza both go out for 27 points against you, and Shireman, as you mentioned, 30.
Yeah, and Garza hit the shot that won the game, and it's like that's so humiliating if you're Orlando. You'll have to remember, I'm no NBA expert, but Orlando was supposed to be a challenger in the East this year. Like, Orlando was supposed to be, not win the East, but be a handful of certainly not be in the play-in.
I think they gave Memphis 4 or 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, and Banchero is an all-star.
Well, Banchero has not panned out as he was supposed to.
And Franz Wagner, who is probably the better player of the two, has been hurt for most of the season.
Right,
so.
But they had him last night, and so like that was in Suggs. Obviously was a very high pick and with a lot of hype around him, and that's supposed to be a good team, and the Celtics were able to go out last night with a bunch of nobodies, real nobodies, and beat them in a game that Orlando was trying to win. That's pretty impressive. Orlando is not good.
It's more testament to the coaching, too.
You have to give it to the coaching, sure.
You got to give it to Mazzulla and the rest of the staff there that brought these guys along and gotten way more out of them. And I'm not just talking about guys like Shulga, who's making his first start. It's Shireman, it's Walsh, it's players like that who you just didn't expect to, contribute that much. Garza, but they've not only contributed, but they got a surprise win over Orlando.
Orlando was down 16, middle of the fourth quarter. They came all the way back, as you knew they would. And you were talking about Garza making the game-winning shot. It was an inbounds pass from the side, and you had a guy cutting to the basket. That was obviously the play. Garza gets the inbounds pass, turns around, sees that guy covered. The center is on top of him, and Garza makes a 3 in his face from the corner to win the game. That was the kind of night it was for all these guys.
Right.
It was really something.
Quickly here, as the Red Sox, we know they got off to a slow start this season, but right as the world's attention was turning toward Augusta, Georgia for the Masters this past weekend, the Red Sox did manage to get their first series win against the Brewers. Would they be able to get another series win with their trip to St. Louis? Well, they split the first 2, and yesterday They had a chance to win their second series in a row.
Durbin runs, swung on a drill to center field deep, racing back Scott, back there to the wall, leaping up, and it's gone! Home run, Wilson Contreras. Right out of the gate, the Red Sox strike in St. Louis. He is hot to put the Sox on the board 2-0.
Well, none of this counts because they lost to Dusty May. So they lost to Dustin May on Friday, so none of this counts. But I hope everyone enjoyed seeing St. Louis for the only time this season, and you got to see that powerhouse lineup and all-star cast of pitching that Chaim Bloom has assembled this season. And now you know why no one was at those games.
Yeah.
Because, well, I'll tell you, Jordan Walker leads the league in home runs, so you got that going for you.
Mm-hmm.
But, if they hadn't won that series, that's bad news because the St. Louis Cardinals are not a good team.
I'll take it. I'll take whatever I could get at this point. They've won back-to-back series. They've won 4 out of 5, and they pitch Crochet in Minnesota tonight. So, and the other part of it is the Yankees have gone on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. No one ran away in that division. So the Sox, even though I think they're tied for last at this point, they're only 2 games out of first. So, you know, you play Minnesota, another team you should win the series from, and you got your ace going in game 1. So despite the bad start, and it was an atrocious start, they're right there.
You got Brian Bayo out there yesterday, kicking and dealing, pitching into the 7th.
Yeah, it's good they've won 2 series, and you can only win series, and that's what they're basing their season on, series and weeks and things like that. But let's not go overly. I mean, this is the team that I root for, and you saw them. If you watched any baseball over the course of the weekend, not exactly the 90s Yankees out there. So let's relax, Jonathan.
I'm not saying they're world champions.
Palante.
I'm happy they won a series, Fred. That's where we are at this point.
I'm trying to take that away from you.
You bastard.
Yeah, well, there you go. Because they stink. They really stink. But Jordan Walker, then just in time for them to lose probably control over him, he'll start having the season of his career. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Listen, the Masters happened. You got to give Hardy some room. You got to let him cook. There were some interesting things that happened, including a guy that everyone seems to hate spazzing out. I remember when everyone liked him. Now everyone hates him. And I'm not talking about the Pope, who the president does not like.
Yes, he found that out in spades yesterday. Well, not a big fan of the Pope.
Depends what news source you look at, because I've looked at some other news sources not reporting it. But nonetheless, I always like to do that when something controversial happens. I'll start kicking around who's talking about it. And you're like, well,
let's ignore this big thing over here.
Well, I mean, it's
okay.
Alienates a fairly large group of voters.
Never happened before. Let's overlook that.
Just not going to mention that at all on this channel?
Yeah, it's kind of like
how about that?
Kind of a whole situation. So let's just say my dad wouldn't know about it.
Oh, okay.
All right. We will be back in just a moment.
More touch.
over.
What's that mean?
The national nightmare is over. The Masters is finally done. Jim Nantz can go back to showing waiters pictures of the way he wants his toast toasted, which is true. He actually carries around a picture of how he wants his toast toasted. So when he goes to diners and talks to people that are making $2.50 an hour plus tip, when you're in tips on $20 bills.
Yeah, you can have your balls busted about the proper way to prepare someone's toast.
When I first heard about that, I was legitimately infuriated. I don't know if I went off, John. I might have gotten 45 minutes on
Oh,
that.
you did. I remember
Easily.
clearly that show and remember
No,
how
that
upset
was
you were and how entertaining it all was.
That was something.
So
yes.
say in reality at the time of that, if you're a waiter, waitress, you're making $2.45 an hour plus tips, and say you get 6 tables and the average bill's $30. So you're getting yourself, you're getting $6 per table. It's well worth being scolded. And not only, and if you're a short order cook, you're probably making $9 an hour, and you got some guys sending back toast. How about you eat what you get? You're at a diner. You eat what you get. There's enough problems in the world, Jim Nantz. Have your butler do it. You have a stupid. You live on what course does
Lives
he?
on Pebble Beach. He's got a replica of one of the par threes there in his backyard, and it's fun. You go there.
It's a small replica, though. It's a replica that's what, 15 yards long? What is it?
No. It's like 1/4 scale. Or
I
something.
see. Okay.
What do you think the cost of daily maintenance of that hole is? And how much time do you think he spends there? He lost his ass in a divorce, too. So, I mean, he must have made a phenomenal amount of money. Not working a lot either. Just making money. Giving away his ties at the NCAA tournament. I can't tell you how much better Iron Eagle is than him at that tournament. Boy, he just infuriates me. And whenever anyone says that they like him, like that knows him, it makes me hate the person that says it. Even though I've never met Jim Nantz in my life, I don't like the idea that someone enjoys his company.
Hello, friends.
Yeah, hello, friends. Ugh. All right, so Hardy,
So he's actually got 2 of them. He also has a home in Tennessee, and he said, I became obsessed by the idea of crafting something special in our backyard, like what I had done 10 years ago at Pebble Beach, with a replica of the nearby par 3 7th. Like the original design in California, this project is so he recreated the par 3 12th hole at Augusta in his backyard in Tennessee.
Oh,
he
nice.
got 2 houses with 2 replica par 3s. And I think that's a lot of fun.
Now, you love golf, and which Adam and I are both jealous of. Adam has mentioned to me how jealous he is of your love of golf, and this is not, we're not making fun of you, we're being serious. We both wish that we loved something as much as Adam obviously can never play golf. I mean, he would have to find clubs and put together some set of clubs based on things he found on the side of the road, and that's not going to be easy. I mean, he would be embarrassed. He would be out there like putting
Even if he started playing, and I am, look, despite all accusations to the contrary, I am not a golf snob in terms of like where I play or how I dress or how I behave on the course. It's like, I'm just, let's just have fun. With that said, I could give myself real anxiety coming up with a scenario where Adam 12 gets into golf and then wants to play and then thinking about what he's going to show up dressed
I've
like
thought of that.
in order to play.
I've thought of that before, like how uncomfortable you would be if you were to take me golfing.
Well, first of all, he'd bring a garbage
sad
bag
it
so
would
he
be.
could pick up around the course.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the little pokey stick as well. That would be in my
He would
golf
turn
bag.
off sprinklers in an anarchistic way of saving
right.
water.
He'd have the calf midway up the calf socks. And he'd have
Payne
the bright
Stewart.
floral, multicolored
Payne
shoes.
Stewart. That's how I would
Yeah,
rock it.
that's right.
This fact was given to me by a friend. You know how with these superconductor places that they're putting together, like for AI or whatever, that they're using a lot of water.
That's great. Yeah. Go on.
What industry uses the most amount of water in the United States?
AI.
It's not tech. It's got to be the tech industry.
Golf courses.
Boom.
Oh, that tracks.
Well,
Adam,
what do you want him to do?
Start the protest. Start the protest now. We're wasting precious natural resources, I should say. Yeah. All right, so the Masters, it kicks off. All the minorities are removed, and here we go.
It's not true. And Rory McIlroy goes out, and after his Friday round, he's got a 6-shot lead. I was out to dinner without my wife, just a friend.
Oh.
And we were watching the end of the second round, and I couldn't believe what Rory did at the end of his second round. I said it out loud on more than one. I can't believe what this effing guy is doing. He birdied 3 of his first 4 on Friday, and then birdied 6 out of his last 7 holes. The chip in from off the green on 17, and then the birdie on 18. It's like, well, thanks, Rory. 6-stroke lead going into the weekend. What am I supposed to do now? There's only so much outdoor Jazzminton I can play over the weekend. Fear not, because that 6-stroke lead would quickly go away after what he did on Friday, where he went out and shot a 73, including bogeys at the 1st, the 12th, the 17th, a juicy double on 11, where he hooked his approach shot into the water. So he had a real tournament going on yesterday. Rory, though, he kind of knew the score going into his third round on Saturday.
Obviously did the bulk of my work on Thursday and Friday. I don't think I would have believed anyone if they said to me, all you have to do is shoot even par for the weekend and you'll win.
Exactly. So that's what you ended up getting. For as many people who wanted to see Rory win again, which I don't know why you want to see that movie again, but fine, you want to see Rory win again. He pretty much did everything he needed to do to win the tournament on Thursday and Friday. He just said it himself. Shot even par over the weekend. Ended up winning the Masters as a result. It's not like he didn't try and give it away, though, yesterday.
Difficult to keep that putter face square impact.
That was left the entire way.
Yeah, he was pulling his putts. He made a double on 4. He would right the ship, though, and eventually have a pretty good middle of his round. But with a 2-stroke lead standing on the 18th tee, McIlroy, in true anticlimactic fashion, takes driver out on 18, which you got to hit driver. I get that, but you don't have to do this.
Uh-oh. This is trouble. Uh-oh. This could be extremely dangerous depending on where this ends up.
Yeah, how about on number 10 fairway?
Yeah.
He was so far over to the right, he was able to actually hit his second shot into 18 by not going back up through the 18 fairway. He took it alongside what is essentially the right side of 10, hooked it over a tree, and put it into a greenside bunker on 18.
We didn't see any of that, of course.
No, because
we missed all of that. However, we did see the 7 minutes of the organizers trying to get the crowd out of the way. But once it came to the actual shot, we didn't see any of it.
It was so bad. So his playing partner Cam Young hit a shot. He put his drive left on the final hole. Hit an approach that he didn't like, and we're like, "Ooh, where did that end up?" Camera's looking for it, can't find it. Rory's shot from essentially the wrong hole. Where did that end up? Don't know, can't find it. How many cameras do you have out there? And shouldn't every single camera available to you be made available on the last 2 guys on the golf course?
It's not like you have to focus on anybody else.
Right.
Everyone else is finished.
Well,
right.
The cameras are positioned behind the green, and you're right. When the approach shots come in, it's just this blank footage of the green, and you can't see any balls. You had no idea that they were in the bunker. The announcers didn't know they were in the bunker. And then when McIlroy goes to address his ball in the trap, they start joking about if it's even his ball. And then you're like, huh? Is the other guy in the trap? But he's not.
Right.
And then there's this conversation of because McIlroy wants to get it over with. He wants to get out of the trap. He asks the other guy if he can go ahead. But then there's confusion in the booth about whether the other guy actually was further away and that it should have been his shot, but he allowed McIlroy to take his shot because he was going to win the Masters. There was all this nonsense that the announcers didn't know, I take it they're not there at 18, I guess. I take it that they're not at the green at 18. I mean, if they were, they would have known the balls where the balls were.
I agree.
So there's just no one knows what's going on.
And no one's telling them.
Yeah, it's like 1932. There's just no idea of what's happening. It's really quite amazing.
That tournament needs, at least the presentation of it, it needs a refresh. It needs an update. And they've got some pretty cool technology. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago we watched golf without the benefit of Shot Tracer, and you really had no idea where the ball was going once it left the club face. So at least you've got that now, and they utilize that. But, just for like keeping things moving, and whether or not you've got more people walking the course and closer to the action, or maybe you start getting some microphones, if not on the guys, a little closer to them so you can hear what's going on, because otherwise you don't know what's going on. Had no idea what was going on that 18th hole until Rory lined up to tap in his putt in order to win the Masters, which we couldn't see.
And here we go. His year again. Rory is a rare repeat winner at Augusta.
A little alliteration there for Jim Nantz.
He didn't write that down at all.
No. So Rory McIlroy wins after trying to cough it up a couple of times on Sunday, but played well enough. He played great on Thursday and Friday, and then shot even par over the weekend. So what'd you think? I thought it was underwhelming once again, watching this particular Masters. I was underwhelmed by the weekend. How it transpired.
Scotty Scheffler was far and away the best golfer over the weekend. I think he was 12 shots back after the first two rounds, finished up 65-68. And on the 17th hole, Hardy, he missed a birdie putt by an inch, maybe less, left it right there on the lip of the cup, and it didn't fall in. If he makes that shot, Rory only has a one-shot lead heading to the last hole, and we saw what he did with his drive. Do you think Scotty Scheffler would have beaten him in sudden death if it had gone to that?
Oh, yeah. I think Scheffler is just a tiny bit more talented, and I don't think you can count on him to spray a tee ball in the wrong direction like Rory did, which you can pretty much count on him to do that. In some pressure situations. He's went back to back. He doesn't suck. It's not like he stinks. But if Scheffler had gotten into a playoff with him, yeah, Scheffler would have won that thing. He was as you said, 12 strokes off the lead after Friday. He shot a 74 on Friday, and he still managed to come all the way back and take second behind Rory.
I like the idea of sudden death befalling one of these guys.
Oh, if there were an actual death that would happen to them if they lost?
Yeah.
They
somehow are overcome with some illness that kills them. They're on the spot. And Nantz has to preside over the
and you could eulogize them.
With the music and everything.
And
It'd be great.
He just slowly lays his tie on the casket.
How about some music, 12? A little Masters music there? Scotty Scheffler. Most well known for trying to kill a law enforcement officer, now dead himself. After losing in sudden death.
Gary.
Literally and figuratively.
Gary, you were at the Masters?
At the Masters.
I was. It was my first one. Pretty crazy experience. But Hardy, have you ever been to Breckers or whatever it is?
No.
What is it? Berkman's.
No.
Sorry, the hospitality place.
No.
So it's pretty impressive. So they basically use it, once a year, as you know, but it's a bunch of restaurants and they've got exclusive merchandise. And I'm walking in there, and this guy's over by the hats, and he's not moving. He's trying on literally every single hat. And I'm standing behind him, and I don't want to, ask him to move because anything you do out of play there, you could get kicked out, and that's how they run the course, by fear. But anyway, I wait, and I look at the guy, and I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, there's no way that's Jim Gray. And I'm like, it is Jim Gray. And I'm sitting there, and the dude knows that like 4 or 5 people are waiting to grab hats. And I'm thinking to myself, do it. You got this opportunity. You got to say something about Oprah. And my buddies are looking at me and they're like, dude, you all right? And I'm like, let me think through this. and then I start playing different scenarios. I'm like, I'm going to get hauled out of here because he's going to go complain to the guy. And so I look at him, he looks at me, and I said, the boys from 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston, say hi, and then I ran away.
God bless you, sir. You're a good Samaritan.
And I didn't buy a hat.
That's good enough.
Oh, well, listen.
That's all right.
A hat, you can lose a hat. That memory, my
that
friend.
memory you're going to have with you?
The admiration I have for you will never fade.
Oh, that's great.
And sitting there, having a bite to eat and having to explain to my friends why I did that was the best. It was the best.
Gary, I hope it ruined Jim Gray's day just a little bit. Even
he was
just a
so
little.
rattled. I don't even know if he knew what I was talking about.
No.
He definitely knew. Don't worry.
Okay, Gary, you obviously are a fan of the show. I am not prone to overestimating my importance in people's lives. I can assure you that Jim Gray knew exactly what you were talking about.
That's awesome.
I can assure you. He fit that guy through over the course of days he threw it. Yes, he knows.
We've had in the years following this, we know people that he's been on, talk shows he's been on. We've talked to hosts to kind of slip something like that in, and he gets rattled every time.
I mean, honestly, the whole place runs on like you feeling if you do something wrong, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm out. But it was so satisfying just walking around and knowing that I was in his head.
Oh,
so,
yeah. And also no surprise that he was acting like a total dick. And,
it was ridiculous.
Yeah, because he's a prick. He's an a-hole.
And he was tweaking the brim. Who tweaks the brim on a hat that they're not going to buy? And he's like, it's just the whole thing.
Yeah,
so.
because he's got to know how the brim would look if he I mean, because there's no way of estimating.
Don't buy it. Move on. Oh, God.
Well, Gary, I'm sorry you didn't get a hat, but know that my esteem for you will always be high. And
always, gentlemen. I'm an extension of the show when I'm out. Always.
All right, Gary. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you. What a beautiful
I was invited to dinner by Oprah.
I can assure you he knew what you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And believe me, I'm not running around thinking that people know who I am. I swear on everything in my life that's true. He knows.
So I came to dinner.
He raised weeks of fuss over that stupid crap. He thought he could get me fired. That idiot. He's going to fire me. Get the hell out of here, you prick. It's not even that he tried to get me fired. It was that he thought he could get me fired. He called Westwood One to get me fired. I don't work in any way, shape, or form for Westwood One. He was just calling random people. And the only reason I know he called Westwood One is because the brother of Westwood the guy who ran Westwood One, was related to my program director. So, he was just calling random people to try to get me fired. Trying to get something going in the industry. Well, thank you. Boy, that made me happy. Thank you. Good. I hope that dickhead has to sit in it for the rest of his life. Ugh. I know people have said things to him, too, about it. Every time he's sitting there with Brady trying to pretend he's famous. All right. You got anything else?
I do, but we don't have time.
I apologize, but I had to take the call.
We'll get we do need to at some point, maybe at the end of the hour, just the Scotty Scheffler thing that people are giving a hard time over to our guy.
To the guy we had on Friday.
Yeah, but I don't think I think people are taking that the wrong way.
Okay. And Sergio well, Scheffler's a prick, obviously.
I think Scheffler might be a way bigger prick than he gets credit for, but I don't think he was being a prick in this.
I actually don't even know what happened. I just know that he got into it with that guy.
Yeah.
I do know that Sergio Garcia loves breaking clubs because that'll show him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll show the club. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Gary Washburn will be joining us.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the
for the game. Sticking with those guys was just as important. So I think it proves the type of locker room that we have, the type of players that we have.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Gary Washburn is a mainstay, an icon in the city of Boston. He covers the NBA, of course, for the Boston Globe. Gary, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
Appreciate it. Last night was interesting. So Orlando has something to play for. They're playing their starters. The Celtics are playing guys. I mean, some of these guys play, but they're, resting. How many was it? Eight guys?
Their top 7 guys and 8 guys overall.
8 guys overall. Their top 7 guys, and they managed to beat Orlando. How does something like that happen?
A combination of a team with like a really good, positive culture in terms of playing hard, taking advantage of their opportunity, being prepared when they're thrown into the game, regardless of the situation, knowing that eventually their time is going to come, against a team that has poor culture, has given up on its coach, and is just playing through the string. And even though the Magic played their main guys and had guys like Banchero and Wagner and were leading most of the until the early third quarter, those combinations, it just shows you the disparity of the NBA today in terms of there's teams with really good cultures and there's teams with terrible cultures. And this is why half the league is tanking. This is why half the team doesn't want to win, because this is what you get. Unfortunately, fortunately for the Celtics, because I thought it was a really good win and a good punctuation to Joe Mazzulla's Coach of the Year campaign, even though he doesn't want it. But it was just an example of a team that has just kind of given up on its coach, and then a team that has it, that loves its coach. And there you go. A team, and the Celtics had something to play for, to be honest. They wanted the Knicks to play the Hawks. The Hawks are a tough team. They benefited from winning that game. And as much as personally they didn't benefit, they gave their arch rival and the team they'll likely face in the next round a tougher first round opponent.
Okay, Orlando was supposed to be, I know, not world beaters, but when you saw previews of the Eastern Conference, Orlando was supposed to be in the conversation. They certainly, I don't think, were supposed to be a play-in team.
No.
And that's just coaching and culture at that, is what you're saying?
I think it's a combination of coaching, culture, injuries. Paolo Banchero did not take a step forward. He did not have a good season. He's not going to make an all-NBA team. If you look at the guy should be dominating. He's a mammoth guy who could get anywhere he wants on the floor. But he doesn't seem to be real motivated by playing for Jamal Mosley. They just don't have it. And they sacrificed a whole bunch of first-round picks to get Desmond Bane in there, and that didn't really work, although Bane's a solid player. So I don't know what's going on in Orlando. But, yeah, to begin the season, it was supposed to be them, Detroit, the Knicks, Cleveland. They were all supposed to compete for the top 4 seeds. And Orlando's exactly where it was last season, trying to play for the 7th seed. So, yeah, one of the league's more disappointing teams for sure.
So now here we are. We've reached the playoffs. The Celtics are off until next Sunday. I mean, they're off a long time, but they'll start with either Philadelphia or Orlando in the first round. How do you think this playoffs this year sets up for them?
Well, I think any of the first round matchups is advantageous for them. Orlando would be a physical matchup like it was last year. They took a chunk out of the Celtics last year. Obviously, Tatum with the wrist. It was a little too physical for them. I mean, it went a little far. Philadelphia is interesting because there'll likely be no Joel Embiid coming off that appendectomy, but the Celtics have never been able to guard Tyrese Maxey. And so they'd have to figure out what to do with him and see what Philadelphia looks like without Embiid. I don't think either series would go more than 5 games, but it would be a minor challenge. And then the Knicks. They've got to figure out if the Knicks get to the next round, how to beat the Knicks 4 times. And now they have home court advantage. It'll be the same situation as last year. Can they close out those home games? Are they a different team? Have they learned from their experience last year blowing those 2 home games? 'Cause that blew the series. Let's be honest. They win one of those. They win one of those games. At least they have a shot to win that series, even if Tatum is hurt, because it would have probably went 7 as opposed to going 6. So to me, they've got to learn from their experience. They got to figure out some things from that last Knicks matchup, but they need to just prepare. They'll be fine. They'll prepare for their first round opponent. I think they'll be motivated. They're chasing something. There's a carrot out there, and then they have a real shot in the East.
Yeah, I would think, though, Gary, and you just kind of alluded to this, and John did too, that like getting through these early series as quickly as possible without getting too beat up, because there's a physicality that kind of looms at the end. Presumably, if you make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and the team that you might have to face, you want to have as much left in the tank for that team, because I think that series could take a lot out of you. Mentally, they're all going to be draining, but just physically, I think that could be demanding, and there's no sense in wasting any time or energy beating these early round opponents. If you, in fact, are going to beat them, get it done in 4 or 5 games and save as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that the Celtics of the past might have had a little trouble with, is playing with its food, right? And even in 24, just playing with its food, but just you got to knock these guys out, and that's what they need to do. They have that killer instinct, and don't play around. And remember, you got Tatum still coming off the Achilles injury. He's not yet in premium shape, and I think physically he's 100%, but he's not the guy who's going to be in the middle of next season where he's got 70 games under, 50, 60 games under him. So they've got to take that into account. But I think they have, the difference this year is they have more youth and more depth. I mean, last year they were dragging Porzingis. Horford was 38. They had some, even Drew Holiday, as youthful as he looks, was 35. So they had 3 kind of graybeards on that team, and then Cornette. So this year you've got a bunch of young guys who want it, who are still, not even close to their prime. Guys like Shireman, who has really emerged as a weapon. The Jordan Walshes, Ugo Gonzalez's, Peyton Pritchard still playing great ball. So, and I don't think we've seen the best of Derek White, offensively especially. I think that he can definitely bring another element if he's locked in shooting the 3 ball.
I'm wondering what your opinion would be specifically about a best of 7 against the Knicks in the second round, because the Knicks just don't seem to go away, or they didn't with Tom Thibodeau in charge. And you think with Mike Brown there might be a little bit of a change, but they finished the season really, really well. They seem to be going in to the playoffs on an up note.
Yeah, the Knicks are a team that I would say it's a dead even matchup. Because they have the bigs. I mean, Towns is a guy, obviously he flops and he's always complaining for calls, but he's very gifted. He can shoot the 3 and he can get to the rim. And then the Celtics have always had problems with Mitchell Robinson. Joe would rather host a show like Jimmy Kimmel than have, he'd rather do anything else besides having Mitchell Robinson play 40 minutes. He's kryptonite. He'd rather do anything. He tries to get him out of the game. Remember last year he did the hack-a-mitch, and that didn't work, right? So those are the 2 guys. And then Brunson, to me, is just a cold-blooded killer. I mean, that dude, for 6'1", I mean, he gets his shot off. He can score anywhere on the floor. So they got guys, and then when Anunoby and Bridges can guard Tatum and Brown. So it's an even matchup. So they have to figure out a way. But last year, they likely, barring Tatum's injury, win the series if they win one of those 2 home games. So they just got to figure out how to close them at home. And they've got to figure out how to play the fourth quarter. And they kind of blew it in the fourth quarter the other game last week, where they had a 7-point lead and ended up losing because Josh Hart went crazy. And he's another kind of X factor So the Knicks have the tools. They just haven't been as consistent throughout this season. That's why they're the 3rd seed. This was all written for the Knicks to win the East and be the best team, and they, slipped again. But they can always get it back.
Is there a part of you that kind of hopes that Joe Mazzulla wins the Coach of the Year award so you can get under his skin again?
I think all you guys all got to come out to the press conference.
Saving it, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got to love that if he wins it and gives his acceptance award for Coach of the Year. Because I don't think it's something he doesn't want. I think it's something he wants his staff to have. I think he's a selfless guy, and he wants his staff. And those guys work hard. He wants them to get the credit as much as he does. He doesn't like an award with his name, especially on it, because he feels like it slights his staff. I get it. He was a little strong that night in Atlanta when he said his comments about Coach of the Year. But maybe he'll bring his whole staff to the press conference or something. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it either. It seems like a death sentence.
It has been in the past, yeah.
Yeah, just ask Dwayne Casey, how that went for him.
Yeah, it seems like you've exceeded expectations and set new ones, and then it ends up costing you in the end. That's what it seems like to me. I actually, as Missoula press conferences go, I was kind of on his side with that one. I was like, I don't want to win that thing. That's a jinx. I don't need that on me. And he's not going to get it. But you've never interlocked fingers with Joe Mazzulla, Diana Rossini style? No?
No, no.
I'm asking every reporter if they've ever.
That's a legit question, I guess. Yeah, let's see how that turns out. But
not well.
He might just think you're engaging in push hands.
Oh yeah, good point.
He might take it the wrong way.
That's right.
He'll try. He would like body slam me. Because with his Taekwondo moves. He would view it as a fight.
Yeah, that Blake Griffin story about Blake Griffin showing up at the facility and they're like, "Do you want to meet Mazzulla?" And he's like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, he's in the back with his sensei." And Blake Griffin's like, "Oh my God." He's 12. Oh, that's good to know. All right, Gary Washburn. Thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you hopefully throughout this playoff run. Always appreciate it. Read him in the Boston Globe. He's the best. Gary, thanks so much.
Sounds great, guys.
Appreciate it. There you go. Our friend Gary Washburn. We'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Mark Kastelik's goal with 9:30 to go snapped a 2-2 tie, and the Bruins snapped a 5-game losing streak with a 3-2 win in Columbus. They lead Ottawa by 1 point for the top wildcard spot in the East and wrap up their regular season tomorrow night against New Jersey. Celtics sat 8 players, but they still beat Orlando 113-108 at TD Garden. Baylor Shireman, a career-high 30 points. Celtics finished with 56 wins. Their first-round matchup begins Sunday at 1 against either Philadelphia or the Orlando Magic at TD Garden. Sixers host Orlando in the 7-8 play-in game on Wednesday night. Doc Rivers not expected to be back as the Milwaukee Bucks head coach next season. Red Sox won in St. Louis 9-3. They take 2 out of 3. Garrett Crochet pitches in Minnesota tonight. And Rory McIlroy wins his 2nd consecutive Masters. He beat Scottie Scheffler by 1 shot. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Cross Insurance, known for building winning partnerships with teams of all sizes. The official insurance broker of the Red Sox, Bruins, and the Patriots. Visit crossagency.com. Cross Insurance, your team, your choice. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Looking for that perfect match this year?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. I took my daughter to gets home from school, and she'll listen to physical vinyl albums. This is not my doing. I did not encourage her to do this. I don't know if it's on TikTok or what the hell is going on, but she has these physical vinyl albums. She displays them in her room. So yesterday, I did take my son somewhere, and then I was like, you want to go to the record store? I haven't been to a record store in a long time. So we went to a record store, and she buys 4 records, and I buy 3. These are just albums. These are not, sifting through to find these rare albums. These are not, some kind of 5-record set with a big book in it. These are just vinyl albums. The total was $360.
Yeah. Are they new? They're all new albums, right?
Yeah.
Like new meaning come out recently. Yeah. Record's going to run you like $30-$35 a new record these days.
But that's
why is that?
Okay, that's $50
each
an album.
That's ridiculous.
You just spend.
Right. But but the records that I saw were marked at like $30, like Adam said.
Yeah.
But then apparently one record that she bought was $100.
Oh, God.
Even though it was nothing special, it was just a record. It wasn't like any kind of limited edition affair.
If it was blue or something, like God.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Did you have second thoughts when did you know how much it was when she brought it up the counter?
And so here's the thing: is that it was an independent record store, and they were like having to like exchange the records in the back, like, because they were very aware of inventory. They were writing things down on paper to keep track of things. So it was like overwhelming. It would have been too much to like take things off. Like, and I didn't know what cost what. Like it took a long time to get rung up because there was a whole process. There was 3 people involved. They had records behind the counter, and they were taking the record that she had pulled and then removing another record from behind the counter and putting a record back because of keeping things in stock or something of that nature. Like, it was a very mom and pop operation, which I was in well over my head. There was no backing out at that point once I got the
You know what it
total.
was? You were Joe Fox and You've Got Mail going up to the counter at the shop around the corner, and they go to ring up. Joe Fox is in there with his aunt and uncle, who are much younger than him. This is the day, welcome to America, right? And he goes to buy the books, and they're like, that's $80. Now, Joe Fox and Fox Books, they would sell those same books for much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, whoa. But he's got the kids standing there with him. He's got to fork over the money for the books. So he was not prepared to back out, much like you were not at the counter of this indie record store.
It's weird. I said the same thing. I was like, this is just like You Got Mail.
It is. It's the exact same scenario.
And then I started thinking about how many things in my life are just like You Got Mail. And then I started thinking about how many things in my life are like Sleepless in Seattle. And then I started just thinking about how much I was like Billy Crystal. And then I started wearing sweaters and walking and growing a beard and walking around the park.
Now you're mixing up your Meg Ryan movies.
Oh.
What record you get?
Did I get?
Yeah.
Oh, a reissue of I Don't Want to Grow Up by the Descendants for No Reason.
Nice.
They reissued it with a new cover. And since I was at a record store, of course, I went to where the Descendants records were and looked at it, and then that's something that I'll never listen to.
I know. I do the same thing whenever I'm in a record store. The first thing I seek out are records that I already own, or that I know very well. It's like, oh, I wonder if they have this in here, and they do, but I don't buy them.
See, the record that I'd be most
buy a $50 vinyl.
The record that I would most likely listen to would be like jazz because it's just background music.
Yeah.
And so like if I was reading or something, like there is a possibility that I would do that. Also, we'll put Christmas albums on while we're doing like the tree and stuff. But no, these albums like Descendants records, I'm never gonna listen to it. It goes into a thing with other records that will never be listened to. But you're in the store. You've driven out to Brookline, which is impossible to park at and drive. So you got to buy something.
I still think I would have backed out, but I would have had major thoughts about it based on like the setting and the store.
The guy was so nice, and I bet you this Descent. He put out the sense when he was like, I bet you this is for you, and they go, yeah, they got me. And I'm like, they keep doing these reissues. They know the age of their audience, and he like gave me a belly laugh, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, what more do I have to buy? Like I was like, the guy charmed me.
Yeah.
He gave me a nice laugh.
Yeah,
because I could have been looked upon as a fraud. I'm an old man, and I'm in the record store. The people could have looked at me like big poser, but then they got a laugh. So I was like, oh, here we are.
But if you were at Best Buy and the kid rung you up for get the hell out of here.
Take half these off.
No, Best Buy. No, I'm breaking them over my knee. And he's like nice guy, and and it's like a whole process. Like it was a very archaic process, and now they were doing it. And it's no insult to them. It was just the way they do business. Yeah. But there were 3 people. It took 3 people, and they were like juggling things around and replacing stuff. And it didn't take a long time. It just seemed very labor intensive to read things up. And they gave me a tote bag for free because I obviously had spent more money in that store in one setting than they had made in 6 years. It was crowded in there too.
Oh.
But
well, you're supporting small business, Fred, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
There you go.
What do you know about it?
Yeah, what do you know about supporting anything?
The small business. What do you know about business?
No, he knows about tote bags. He's got the WGBH tote bags.
I got my WMBR one now, too, thanks to Fred.
That's what he knows.
I donated money to one of his stupid radio stations and got him the tote bag. And now the lady can email me and say, why do you hate us? And I'll go, I don't.
Joni, we're cool with you.
Joni, we're cool. I'm just busting Adam's balls. All right, so we'll be back with our award-winning news segment. We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Bob Beer is going to join us about the Bruins who are in the playoffs. Hagen's made his big debut there yesterday. All right, but first there are a lot of news in the world, and we will cover it. We have not done news in a very long time, so hold your horses because we have a whole backlog of news to get to.
We do indeed, and this one from California, where this is the world's hub for technology. I mean, this is where all the ideas come from. This is where AI is being generated and created, but also the robot overlords will probably first take over California and then spread to the rest of the globe. And these robots are first put on display as a form of really entertainment, Fred. Sometimes these entertaining robots, they take a wrong turn.
This is the moment things started heating up in Cupertino, California. At this hot pot restaurant, a humanoid robot's attempt to bust a move just going bust. Items flying in the air. Restaurant workers appearing to try to rein in the robot with little luck.
The way this played out, it's funny, but what are the potential risks of a robot like that going haywire in a tight restaurant setting?
Oh, let me count the ways.
Okay, so they're at a hot pot restaurant, which is where they give you like a steaming pot in the middle of your table, and you put various food items in it, and then you take them out and consume them.
Correct.
Why is there a robot running around?
To show off the robot. Look how cute and clever this thing is, and let's put it into a restaurant. I don't know why it's in the restaurant.
Was it someone's date?
Happy birthday, Paulie.
In our lifetimes, people will be bringing robots out as dates. Well, yes, you are right. Happy birthday, Paulie. That is in Rocky. And, of course, back then, as in evidenced in the movie Wall Street as well, you could tell someone was very, very wealthy if they had a worthless slave robot that somehow had a tray in its hands that could bring you drinks. And then strangely, of course, Paulie, when he sees the robot, oddly wants to bang it, even though it's really just sticks with a very crude computer mouth on it. It's neither male nor female. It's sexless, and Paulie so lonely because he's so small in hirsute that he cannot find the touch of a female woman, a human. So he wants to bang the robot, of course. But I'm telling you, in our lifetime, you're going to go out one night and there's going to be a guy with a robot sitting there that he's banging the robot. That's just for your own edification. And those things can be strong. A lot of pressure they can put on you.
But you can adjust the amount of pressure.
Yeah, but if it's a sentient being and it has its own thoughts and ideas.
We're months away from that. Don't worry about that.
Well, what if it decides
That's
it wants
way down the road?
What if it decides it wants to have you in switch who's in charge, and the next thing you know, it's got you pinned down? What are you going to take it to court? Robot court? I mean, what's done is done.
Robot.
That's right.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think that Al Cole, Al Cole doesn't even care if you're fat.
Robot style.
Was that AI Al Cole?
Well, that's real Al Cole.
That's the real Al Cole.
Robots need reply.
Why is he talking about robots?
I'm a robot.
Yeah.
A robot of love.
And then we talked to him, and he said, I love women's brains. I love their brains, which wasn't creepy. And then I said, well, do you care what they look like? And he said, no, even if they're fat. If we vibe, I love it.
Even if they're fat.
That's what he said.
No, my reaction was first laughter, and then I immediately said out loud, "This is very scary and very unsafe."
Well, as long as you said it out loud.
Yeah.
You didn't keep those thoughts to yourself. You handled the situation beautifully.
By all means, sit right there. Just don't leave.
I said it out loud. No. Sarah, did you say it out loud? I said it out loud. I said, I'm scared.
I wouldn't worry too much about this robot sort of going rogue and leaving the restaurant and doing anything. I think it's just much more of a physical fear here.
NBC News chief tech analyst Joanna Stern says this humanoid should have a kill switch that its operators do not seem to know how to use.
It was likely on in entertainment or dance mode, and then something just went wrong in terms of the connection.
This Bay Area scene just the latest reminder that technological leaps come with headaches. This Russian humanoid debuted with a faceplant. These Chinese soccer playing robots are not ready for prime time either. But still,
but they can fart.
Ready for prime time either. But still,
oh boy! The first thing that you did, what'd you do? Well, you ready for the big debut? Well, yeah. These are going to take over industry. Yeah. Well, what do? Well, we programmed them to fart.
Yeah. What does it smell like? Kind of like that corroded battery. You pull it out of the back of an old walkie-talkie you haven't used in a while.
Well, if you wanted to smell, you just jam in some stale eggs. Sometimes
robot style.
That's right.
Still, many companies are racing toward the future of tech. In China, these robots...
What the hell is going on with this newscast? There's all this...
Robots are even helping police. But Stern says both the hardware and AI have room to grow.
This can be a huge billion-trillion-dollar business for companies all over the world. But it also is going to change the economics and the way people work.
Oh, you're saying that robots taking jobs is going to change the way people work?
Yeah, there's a chance.
You're saying that when robots and computers can do the jobs that humans have been doing, that could change the workforce. Thank God they have a computer expert in there. I couldn't figure that out for myself. We're all gonna die. We're not gonna be able to have jobs.
I'm a robot.
Thank you, Al.
This latest hiccup happened at a Bay Area Haidilao restaurant. For years, the company has pitched itself as a technology innovator, leaning into AI and robotics. Tonight, Haidilao telling NBC News the robot is part of a pilot setup. The company writing in part, in this case, the robot was brought closer to a dining table at a guest's request, which is not its typical operating setting.
What the hell's going on?
The robot wasn't used to it. It's not the robot's fault. It's never been that close to a table before.
But this is a place to consume food?
Well, yeah, just hot pots.
Well, yeah, but then what's the point of the robot? They just have a robot walking around
in case someone's having a birthday.
They're really chasing that Michelin star with that robot. How did people dine before the advent of the clown robot?
Watching the waitresses and the manager trying to kill this thing, they're picking it up by the scruff of its neck, and the thing is like flailing all around.
I'm in dance mode.
Yeah,
leave me alone.
The limited space affected its movement during the performance.
Well, listen, who hasn't been constrained during our dance performances? We all remember when we all went to the Crate and Barrel and tried to do jazz hands. Quite a bit of expensive breakage in that one.
Speaking of breakage, I remember when I was trying to break dance in Williams-Sonoma, and things went poorly.
Well, that's why when I breakdanced at Tally Hall when I was 11 years old, much to my embarrassment to this day, I had a full stage in the food court.
The company adding, we remain committed to providing a safe and enjoyable experience for our guests. Our Bay Area NBC...
That'd be funny if they were like, you know what? This is just the beginning, folks. Safety is out the window as far as we're concerned. You're taking your life into your own hands. All right. And finally, there is a tradition that this is new to me. Apparently, a long time ago, a sailor in Maryland did something to symbolize the end of winter, and you are probably going to find this both wasteful and in some ways horrific that this was done, Fred.
It's finally spring. for many people across the country, it was a long, cold winter. And in Annapolis, Maryland, people gather every year at this time to usher in the warmer weather by making a ritual sacrifice of their socks.
Yes. Sacrifice them to my mouth.
That's right.
Sacrifice them by placing them forcefully over my face till I black out. Sacrifice your socks. You know, I had
What's your favorite season?
It's finally spring.
It is spring, and no, don't. The Kool-Aid's fine. Drink away. The socks is what I desire. You won't go to heaven if you take them off for a week. You gotta wear them. You won't go to heaven unless you put them in a Ziploc bag. Armageddon is coming. We're going to need them socks.
I'm sorry, is this entire cult based on what we do with our socks?
Yes, and me masturbating while I hold them.
I thought we were going to have sex with each other.
No, I'm going to masturbate. With your socks.
Are we allowed to get naked in front of each other except for barefoot?
No need. Just your socks, please. Your bodies are of no consequence to me. Just your belongings. Would you like a bra? No. Gross. Would you like my underwear? Well, perhaps. How messy.
By making a ritual sacrifice of their socks. This springtime tradition is the unofficial start of the sailing season on the Chesapeake Bay.
The official start of the sailing season is when I'm done. When I get carpal tunnel, that's the end.
Ahoy.
Ahoy, I feel miserable about myself. You may sail. Yes, I've gotten to the point where I would like to end it all. Yes, you may sail.
The sun is shining and it feels like spring at the nearby Annapolis Maritime.
The sun is shining and it feels like spring. Hand me my socks so I can play with my thing. I'm the poet laureate of foot fetish. My fiefdom of foot fetish.
Welcome in our poet laureate here of all things masturbatory and feet, Fred Toucher.
Wear your socks for a week. Take them off and put them in a pail. When I'm done sniffing them, you may set sail.
Dick Flavin.
Yes. Your socks have been on for a week. Their stench has started to reek. When I put them to my nose is when I reach my sexual peak.
Feels like spring at the nearby Annapolis Maritime Museum in the city's Eastport neighborhood. A ceremonial burning of socks.
Heretics! Get ice! Where's ice? Put them in Annapolis.
I'm still thinking about the poet laureate. The socks are smelly. Spring is here. Take them off your feet. But not very good. Not very good. I need to be punished. I need discipline.
Yes. I love all your socks. Spring is here. Take them off and put them in my rear. Why not?
Marks the unofficial start of boating for the year.
So the whole premise of the sock burning started back in 1977.
By Satan.
All the way back to 1977?
Yeah.
I thought this was like an old maritime-y thing.
No, it's from Satan.
Oh.
It was a bunch of hippies. They wanted everyone to be able to smell the socks, so they burned them.
During one of the coldest seasons we had, it's when the bay froze over, everything was happening, and a local...
Oh, yeah, I remember everything was happening. The bay froze over. Everything was happening. I remember that, the Bay froze. We call that the winter everything happened.
What happened? Well, the Bay froze.
Yeah, water turned to ice in the cold. It was the craziest time ever. It got cold in the cold season, and the water turned to ice. We're very behind in Annapolis. It took us to 1977 to realize that happens. What's going on with the water? We'll never forget the summer of 77. And that's when we decided to start, cooling drinks.
And a local sailor was so fed up with all the cold weather that at the spring equinox, he decided he was going to take his socks off and burn them.
Yeah, whatever you're doing with those is fine with me. What about your wives?
That single act of seasonal defiance has led to an enduring tradition. Today, hundreds of people are out on the beach for a party, hoping to cast off the need for winter socks. There's live music, alcohol, and a Chesapeake Bay favorite, oysters.
I want to kill myself. You thought that one day I might be forced to attend this very, very ritual. God. I just want to end it now, just in case.
I could just picture this big pile of socks and they're about to light it on fire. All right, everyone, let's play a game. Shut your eyes. Running away.
We've already had several raw, a couple of baked. Couldn't be any better this year.
How do you make the selection? I mean, you don't pick the brand new ones, I assume.
Hopefully not. No, you dig in the bottom of your drawer or the bottom of your closet somewhere. And
the hamper, yeah. The toilet.
You hopefully you find one that's got, one hole in it or two holes in it.
Yeah, sure.
Your nightstand.
Yeah, if there's not a hole, I can make one.
Hopefully not moth-ridden.
Poet.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. It's real scummy.
Moths secrete bodily waste too. It's okay.
Yeah, good old grandma mothball. Yeah, if a dead guy, sure. You didn't know he's dead. You month body laying there. You take some socks out of the closet. Sure.
Poet laureate of Annapolis, Jefferson Holland, recites a poem as the flaming pit on the beach crackles nearby.
Oh, let's hear what this genius has to say.
This great description.
So if you sail into the harbor on the 21st of March and you smell a smell like Lindbergher mixed in with laundry starch.
Sounds just like Ted Knight in Caddyshack.
You know you're downwind of the Eastport docks where they're burning their socks for the equinox.
It's the main event. Not an orderly affair, but a free-for-all with dozens of socks of all colors and fabrics. Some land squarely in the flames.
Some land in mouths.
Others miss the mark and have to be helped into the fire.
Yes, like a good doggy. I'll put it in my mouth and put it in the fire.
We all made it down to the beach. I don't know how, but this festival's pathetic. We should just end it now.
And it goes on and on.
That's
Whatever.
right.
Unfortunately, you're right.
All right. Well, that seems like a big waste of socks. It's like that these losers, one guy burned his socks and then it became a whole situation. And the winter of 77 when the
water turned to ice.
was a real to-do for them. All right. Bob Beers, I'm sure, is going to be very thrilled to join us next. He will be with us. A big game for the Bruins yesterday as we head to the playoffs. He'll join us in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The
I put him out there because I trusted him, and the whole line did a great job, so they deserve to be out there.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. The Bruins had lost 5 in a row. I mean, some of them had been in overtime, but they had lost 5 in a row. They make the playoffs based on other teams' failures, but then they play a Blue Jackets team with something to play for yesterday. They're resting Hampus Lindholm. They're resting Charlie McAvoy. They're resting Zaka. They're resting a bunch of guys. And, of course, it was James Hagen's debut with the big club, and they managed to win 3-2 against Columbus. And then there was some conversation after the game, which I'm still not sure what that was about. Bob Beers will know. He is, of course, the analyst on the 98.5 The Sports Hub Bruins radio network. Bob played the game, obviously. He has been around for a long time. Bob, hello. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We are well, and congratulations. You'll be calling playoff games again this year after that huge lull of not calling them
for one whole year.
I know. Listen.
That was a pretty big disappointment last year, though. Those games were tough towards the end of the season.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't listening. Don't worry. I didn't hear. I backed out. As you can imagine, once there's nothing to play for, there's very, very little reason. But you get paid, so that's why you have to be there. All right, so let's start with this. Hagen's to you yesterday, 13 minutes. He had an assist. How'd he look to you?
Pretty good. He was on a line with Minton and Husadinov, so 3 very young players, 3 guys that can really skate. They can be creative. There were some plays to be made, I thought, in the first period that they were just a little bit off on. But, they had some good speed, and, they certainly didn't hurt the Bruins when they were out there. Minton's a good player, and Husadinov has proven to be a fun player to watch. So Hagen's fit right in. He did some good things. He was pretty good on the wall. When pucks came around to him, because he's playing the wings, so when pucks came around to him for breakouts, things like that. His assist came in a kind of a one-on-one battle in the corner, where he kind of kicked the puck to Corrali and ended up in the back of the net on Yoki Haru's shot. So it was. It wasn't crazy good, but it was good. So, a really solid start for him.
You obviously remember your first NHL game. What was this? Was your first game like the first game of the season, or did you come up during the course of a season?
No, I came up during the course of a season. It was late. It was really late in the season. There weren't many games left, and it was my rookie year. But the team was really good. The Bruins were.
Okay, so sort of the same as a really good Bruins team, but let's just say similar in that they were playoff
clinched.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Already clinched. Yeah.
All right. So how big a difference was that for you? Based on the competition that you had been playing, was it like overwhelming at first, or how did it feel to be out there the first time in terms of the skill level around you?
Well, I mean, you're looking around, and there's Neely, and there's Bork, and there's some pretty big names around you. So it's kind of hard not to be a little bit, I don't know if intimidated is the right word, but in awe, right? So, but I had the benefit of a full season down in the American Hockey League. I had the benefit of 4 years of college, so I was a little bit older. And I wasn't I wasn't a 7th overall pick. I was a pretty late pick. So, it's a little bit different for me. And they told him, you tell the guy that, there's no pressure. Play. You're here for a reason. Play the game the way you know how to play the game. And, we'll work on all the little things afterwards. He had an understanding of the system because he's played it down in Providence for a handful of games. But this is a whirlwind for him, right? I mean, he's been, you play on BC, you play in the World Juniors, you play in Providence, now you're playing in Boston. 4 different teams in one season. That's a lot. So there's a lot to kind of process for him, but I thought he handled it really well.
Bob, I'd argue that you were in a tougher position than him because he knows he has a career in the NHL, like based on a career. They're not going to give up on him, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he knows there is a safety net there. I would argue that given your situation, you're under a lot more pressure because they wouldn't have hesitated. Probably, if you were a late pick and a little older, they wouldn't have hesitated just saying, "Okay, thanks for coming up." That was nice.
Yeah, for me, it was a taste. It was like, since I had played, I had a good year in the American Hockey League, and it was late in the year. They had already clinched everything. I think they were first place. They were President's Trophy winner that year, and so come up, play a few games, go back down, and then maybe we bring you up for the playoffs, which they did, and I ended up playing the playoffs. So I guess, but that's one way to look at it. But I'd had a lot more kind of whatever you want to call it, seasoning as far as the pro game goes when I came up.
All right, is there any preference that you would have to see in terms of who the Bruins play in the first round?
No, don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay.
I have my own thoughts, but I don't. I mean, I hate kind of approaching it that way. Whoever you're going to play, you're going to have different sets of challenges. Carolina, we just saw them the other day. Lots of speed. Their goaltending's a little suspect, I think. You got Buffalo's there for the first time in 14 years, so a lot of those guys haven't been there yet. Montreal would be an unbelievable atmosphere up there. And Tampa, we all know Tampa. We haven't beaten them this year. We've been right there. You've been right there a couple of times. Third period's been kind of the downfall, at least the last 3 games against the Lightning. So, you can play with them. It's just a matter of getting over the hump and beating them.
Okay, I will phrase it in this way then. You don't want to give them Bob Beer's bulletin board material, I understand. But is there a like dominant team like that? Is there a team in the Eastern Conference that's like just a wagon?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't. No, I think all 4 of those teams I just mentioned, those are the 4 that you can play, right? Mm-hmm. All 4 of those teams are good in their own way. That's why they are where they are in the standings. But I do think they're all beatable. I don't think the Bruins would be favored over any of them.
No.
But they're all they're all beatable.
Do the Bruins, with how heavy they are, and is that something that other teams would have to fear because it's the course of 7 games instead of just the 1?
Sure. I think that's the identity for the Bruins, right? I mean, they're not going to win fancy hockey. That's kind of been determined this year. The identity is to get the puck behind the defense and try to establish that forecheck. It's a matter of defending for the Bruins, defending well and then getting in the good goaltending. So it's and then being heavy, as you call it, but without going over the line and taking a bunch of dumb penalties or undisciplined penalties, I should say. And if they can do that, then they can hang with any team.
How do you feel about? You just mentioned the goaltending, Bob. How do you feel about where Swayman is at right now? There was the game last week where I know he got pulled in the middle of it, but I don't know how much you chalk up to to him or excuse me, John.
Sorry.
Or the fact that you've got a legitimate backup in Korpisalo. So we were having the discussion earlier. We would expect Swayman to be the guy. But how do you feel about the way he's playing right now? And is there a chance we see Korpisalo at all in the postseason?
I feel really good about Swayman's game. I mean, there's always a chance to see Korpisalo, and Korpisalo's played really well. But, I mean, Swayman's going to be your guy to start. I don't think there's any question about that. That game, that was against Carolina, that game. And, the Carolina came out flying, and the Bruins weren't quite ready for it. Even though they had a little bit of they had a lead, I think, early at one point there. But then Carolina poured it on, was it the second period, I guess. Korpisalo played great when he came in relief. But Swayman's big, his whole body of work this season has been really good. When you look at the high danger chances that he's allowed, I'm not big into analytics, but when I listen to people that are, it's like his numbers against high danger chances have been excellent this year, and he's faced a lot of them. So that's an area that the Bruins certainly want to make sure that they're better on or try to clean up a little bit more heading into the playoffs. And I mean, it's been a long enough sample size to know that, okay, this is an area that needs to be better for them.
How much does it really matter how the Bruins are playing here these last few games as opposed to what to expect from them in the playoffs?
Yeah, I can go both ways on that one. It's you want to be playing well, obviously mentally, but when you hit the playoffs, it's kind of a reset button anyhow. And they're gonna have a few days off before the playoffs, right? The last game's Tuesday. The playoffs won't start till Saturday, so you're gonna have time to rest up a couple of these guys. They rested a couple guys last night, and you're gonna have time to gear up for it. And I think when you hit the playoffs, it's just a whole different mentality. And no matter what you did, no matter how you finished during the regular season, no matter what you did, it doesn't. I don't think it translates a lot. I think you're ready to go, and it's that, like I said, it's that reset button when the playoffs do start. You're playing the same team every other day, so it's a much different mentality when the playoffs get going.
All right. Well, it is exciting. It's always a better world when the Bruins are in the playoffs. Bob, you and Ryan have been fantastic. I don't know.
You're listening again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to listen when this?
Well, these games matter, Bob.
I mean, I enjoy the team and I enjoy your broadcast.
He tapped out at the end of last season and said some very hurtful things.
Yeah. Yes.
But he's back.
Bob, I'm sure you couldn't wait.
Glad to have you back.
I'm sure you couldn't wait to get to the rink. I'm sure it was very exciting for you.
Last year there was a lot of guys that did not want to go to the rink last year.
Yeah. So let's stop putting the onus on me. Yes, as a consumer, it was not you. It was the product on the ice that was the issue. As soon as they said, you know what, we're trading the team and we're not making the playoffs, I said maybe it's best that I put my attention elsewhere. But it is always great to have them in the playoffs, and you and Ryan have been fantastic. We've said that to Ryan. You guys are the best in the business. Bob, thank you so much. Enjoy the last of the regular season, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you through a pretty good playoff run here.
Well, appreciate it, guys. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
All right, there you go. The great Bob Beers. Very humble. I wanted to get his feelings his first time on the ice. He was saying Hagens almost was in a more less advantageous position than he was in, but I would argue that, if you're a minor leaguer in the major leagues, they give you a pretty long rope. If you're a late pick that's just hanging on.
Yeah.
There's pressure on you every time you go out there.
Yeah, he was right. That team he joined, that was a great team. Made it all the way to Stanley Cup Finals that year.
Yeah. Well, they didn't win.
No, they did not win.
So what's it matter? It was all for nothing. All right. We'll be back in just a moment. There was a lot of discussion. Well, first of all, we'll let Hardy do his Masters, finish up his Masters thoughts. We'll do that in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
3 games yet.
comes to the show, Hardy thinks the same way you do.
Nothing happened.
He's got the same questions.
Where is the story?
And the same opinions.
Boring.
And he's back with Fred on the Sports Hub.
Hello, friends. Another April in Augusta has come to an end, and now the Arby's will get back to its normal volume of sandwich selling after the crowds across the streets, Augusta National, have thinned out. Now Arby's will just be the local losers that live in Augusta, Georgia.
The local luckies. Lucky that you have an Arby's in your town.
Until you go to the drive-thru in Lenore City and see the woman with scabs all over her arms hand you the food, and you'll never eat it again.
Just at that Arby's, though.
Yeah, but that was enough.
Okay. Yeah, so the Masters is over. There's a couple of controversies coming out of the weekend. One was Scottie Scheffler, and a lot was made out of this exchange with, at the time, an unnamed reporter.
Scotty, that was a 65 today. What did it feel like it could have or should have been? That's just a terrible question. Next question. Awful.
What enabled you to go low today?
Okay, so the reporter ended up being Jason Sobel, who was on the show with us on Wednesday. He's been on with us last few years. Been on the Sports Hub Golf Club. He's ESPN, writes for The Athletic. He's been covering the sport for a long time. But everyone's saying, like, how, Scheffler must really hate this guy and what a horrible thing to do. You can hear him laughing when he says it. And I think he knows Jason Sobel now to the point where, all right,
he's joking when he asked the question.
I don't think Sobel was joking because Scheffler did make par, I think, on both of the par fives on the back when he shot that 65. And he left some shots out there. It literally could have been like a 62 or a 63 based on the way he plays that course and what he's capable of. So I do think it was a legitimate question. Scheffler, though, just took it to me and was like, I just shot 65, Jason. What a terrible question. And then he laughs and he moves on. So I think that was much ado about nothing.
Well, because you're friends with both of them.
I'm not friends with either one of them. Now, I've spoken with Jason on a number of occasions, as you have, Fred.
And we found out earlier you're Scheffler's biggest champion.
You defended him when he was murdering
many
people.
Oh, yeah.
He attempted to murder one guy. Now, is it fair for you to say that he's out there murdering people?
I mean,
That's true. It was only one, Fred.
If it
He's got a
looks
point
like a
there.
duck and quacks like a duck.
Put it this way. I don't know that Scheffler is the Johnny Nice guy that he was made out to be early on in his career. I think he's okay. I think he's fine.
I think it would be almost impossible to be a professional golfer and be a normal, nice person based on the isolation and just incredible treatment you've received throughout your entire life. And just look at the dorks and little kids that were at that country club in Ireland cheering on Rory McIlroy. They had 7-year-olds drinking beer there. The dorky 7-year-olds that were dressed like their dads. Like everyone was dressed up like in the same little outfit, and they were just sitting there at these weird like church basement tables with beers in front of them. It was weird.
Yeah, it's kind of a crappy looking clubhouse at that place. Right?
Yeah, and and it looked like everyone that belongs to that country club is in some kind of youth choir.
Why even bother throwing a tablecloth over that thing?
They didn't.
I thought there was a tablecloth.
Well, if it was white.
Yeah, it's fine. Just make it a card table. That's what it is. But it doesn't matter.
But they were giving it what appeared to be 11-year-olds beer, and they just looked like a bunch of dorky 11-year-olds.
On a school night, no less.
I know. It's a Sunday night over there. They're 6 hours ahead.
They were watching that thing at midnight. But the real controversy over the weekend came when Sergio Garcia decided to take his driver to all manner of inanimate objects on the tee box.
40 yards.
This was the frustrated Sergio. He hits the ground, and then that driver is done for the day.
Okay, so he ended up breaking his driver. Then later on in that round, after his playing partner, John Rahm, was in a bunker and Rahm's caddy was raking the bunker. Sergio picked up Rahm's bag and started carrying it up to the green, which other people thought was a huge breach of etiquette. I just thought it was kind of funny. I thought he was just trying to help out his friend John Rahm's caddy, and these guys all know each other and know each other's caddies. It's just you don't see a player carrying clubs anywhere.
Listen, he was putting on a little show for everyone. He was having some fun.
But he was asked about it afterward, and had this to say.
Yeah, just obviously not super proud of it, but sometimes it happens.
And then asked
about breaking his own club.
And like what difficulties that caused him not having a driver for the rest of the round.
How much more difficult does it make it strategy-wise when you're not being able to use your driver?
It makes it very easy. I just have to hit 3-wood all the time. I didn't have to choose another club.
That's right. You're forced to hit 3-wood, so no more decisions to make. The real outrage came from Mike Greenberg, though.
Oh, good.
Who said a lifetime exemption, which Sergio has for winning the Masters, is a privilege extended by Augusta to its champions out of respect. If that respect is not reciprocated, there is no law that says a past champ cannot be banned. I'm not sure they should have Sergio Garcia back.
Oh, whoa. You're not sure?
After the garbage he pulled today, #the Masters.
Well, listen, it's good to know that there's finally someone policing the etiquette on a golf course.
Greeny's on it.
From
He's
afar.
on it.
There's nothing cooler than people watching golf and complaining, because golf, you have to remember, has had in professional tournaments rules violations enforced based on viewer tattletales that have been watching the tournament and seen something happen. It's the nerdiest thing in the history of the world. And wait for Greenberg to go out on the limb and say he might, they should think about it at least. Like, way to go. That's pretty outrageous.
Just summed up his radio career in one answer.
Exactly. Like, let's not take it too far.
We don't want to lose any viewers either way.
Yeah,
it's very important to walk that line.
Let's hedge our bets. Let's act irrationally outraged about something that has nothing to do with us, but then kind of pull it back a little bit. About breaking things that are yours?
I'm not sure. Now, other people were quick to point out, you noticed Angel Cabrera out there, who spent 2.5 years in prison for domestic violence charges and for trying to flee the country when he wasn't supposed to. Should he be back, Mike? Do you have a tweet about Angel Cabrera also, or is it just Sergio for smashing his driver up against a cooler?
Or how about how you enabled the greatest player, arguably in golf history, to drive around high on pills for 20 years?
I don't see how that's the gentleman of Augusta's fault.
Well, I'm just saying that you enabled the man that you pretty much knew was heavily addicted to pain pills to continue flipping automobiles.
Well, you enabled him to play great golf, but they didn't have anything to do with him out there getting deweys, as they said.
I'm not saying the people of Augusta. I'm saying Greenberg.
Oh.
I don't recall Greenberg being heavily on, willing to go out on a limb and go after Tiger. Just real quickly about breaking your own stuff. So this is just very quickly. So I have this poster in the guest bathroom, and it's the front page of the Daily Mail after the Sex Pistols were on that daytime show where they swore. Okay, so it's outrage over the Sex Pistols swearing. And there's a guy who called the newspaper to complain that he was so offended by the language that was on TV in front of his children that he kicked a hole in his TV set and it exploded in front of his children because that behavior. Hey, kids, when you see something you don't like, start destroying things violently. And he was proud enough of himself that he said it as evidence of how bad the swearing was.
I just looked up this poster, Fred. Is it the one where the headline is "The Filth and the Fury"?
Yes.
Is that why you have it in the bathroom?
Yes.
This is what you're here to do, isn't it? The
filth
and the fury.
No, the sign above the toilet just says "Don't flush." It says "Save it."
If it's mellow, let it. If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, call me immediately.
Exactly. Yeah, you've been over. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. Musical conversation is not just for this show; it is invading the radio station. We've got many reports. There was interesting musical talk going on last weekend. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
energy drinks.
Bruins put an end to a 5-game losing streak. Care of a 3-2 win in Columbus yesterday. Top draft pick James Hagan's an assist in his debut. Mark Kastelik scored the winning goal in the third period. Bruins lead Ottawa by 1 point for the top wildcard spot in the East with 1 game left. It's tomorrow night at home against New Jersey. Celtics sat 8 players, but they won anyway. 113-108 over Orlando at TD Garden. Baylor Shireman, a career-high 30 points in the win. Celtics win 56 games. The regular season is over. They will play either Philadelphia or Orlando in round 1 of the playoffs beginning Sunday at 1. The 76ers host Orlando in the 7-8 play-in game on Wednesday night. ESPN is reporting Milwaukee head coach Doc Rivers will not be back next season. Red Sox wound up with 2 wins in 3 games in St. Louis over the weekend. They beat the Cardinals yesterday 9-3. Wilson Contreras 4 hits, 3 RBIs, and that includes a home run. Sox have won 4 out of 5. They pitch Garrett Crochet in Minnesota tonight. And Rory McIlroy held off Scotty Scheffler to win his 2nd consecutive Masters by 1 shot. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Visit the Nines the day after the Red Sox win, like today, and get a free kids meal with every adult entree purchased. You gotta love the Nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston Talk Sports.
Drake May. We all know what, but we won't say what. Yeah, worst take on these airwaves in the last 24 hours.
We may not take a call today.
The Sports Hub.
Oh boy, I guess it's time for more Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
A lot of food.
Oh my God.
The good food that I had.
Oh.
Super.
We are a show by the name of Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. You can download our podcast. And then we will shoot up the podcast rankings, being along such luminaries as the, Bocce Ball show. All right. So the weekends here at the Sports Hub are a cavalcade of wonderful hosts, and you'll recall post games during the Patriots season were Joe Murray and Mark Dandero, and we've explored Mark Dandero's good work off the air and all these things. But the two of them together are continuing this post game momentum into the off season, where they have a free-for-all show where anything goes, and you can talk about whatever you would like. Now, this was sent to me by, let's say, 5 people. There was a musical discussion. I've not heard it, but there was a musical discussion between Dandero and Joe. Now, we know Joe's affinity for Alice in Chains and things like that. And Joe has a good singing voice. We are aware of that, are we not?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys know Lifshatz moved?
No, I didn't know. I knew he was done here. I didn't know he moved. Where'd he go? Vegas?
Kendra told me that he moved to like Charleston or something, where the soil really regenerates.
Oh, it's a good point. He can walk around in there, no problem.
Yeah, like year round.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no snow blocking you from the ground.
That's right.
Oh. Because Kendra had posted something like a month ago about like Dan leaving, and I'm like, is he moving? And she said yes, and I said
molecular
where?
Structure of your like cells.
Yeah, so he's going to practice medicine down in where they'll let him, South Carolina, I'd imagine. All right, so here is I might be wrong. He might not be moving, so don't panic if you're kin to him and they
cut it with seed oil.
I could be wrong. I don't know, but here is Dandero and Joe on yesterday. Is it just yesterday?
Ain't no stranger to love.
Now that's Dandero. He has heard the Rick Astley song.
What are we doing?
Never Gonna Give You Up.
This is on this station yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
But at least he remembered the lyrics, unlike your former partner, Wiggins, who just went off the cipher.
Well,
Ain't no stranger to love. And so do I.
It's a great track.
I don't think Jeff
He wasn't ready for that?
was ready for that.
Nobody wants that.
Just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you
Understand, never gonna give you up. It's a great song. I mean, I don't know how you can't like this one.
Well, it's easy. No one does. That's why the whole.
That's why
thing.
there's an entire meme devoted to it.
It's ridiculous. He's a redheaded, howdy doody looking guy singing like that. The whole idea is that the song sucks. He knows the song sucks. He said, "Wow, I seem to have become some kind of sensation on the internet. Best lean into this. Perhaps I can make a few bucks."
It's just not that Rick Astley song. It's
all of them.
That's right.
No, Rick Astley is considered by even Rick Astley to be absolutely terrible. He knows. He's under no illusions that he's a good musical artist. Believe me. And it's almost serving it up too much by playing this. Was this put on purpose to get the two going?
I believe this was a rejoin song.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Joe
like
was just reacting.
Oh no,
They were not planning on doing this.
I was ready to crush the Red Sox.
Yeah, but then he got sidetracked.
Because
Rick Astley.
You cannot fault Dandereo and Joe for reacting to this because they've obviously been set up by the producer. Listen, it's a Sunday. Like, everyone relax. Let's get into some Ashley talk or whatever the hell his name is.
You know what I found funny a lot of times? I mean, we would listen to this in college.
Sitting on the dryer. Did that feel funny?
You know what I found funny a lot of times? I mean,
Putting the vacuum cleaner on yourself?
It's the washer, really. It's the spin cycle.
I don't know. Ask my mom.
You know what I found funny a lot of times? I mean, we would listen to this in college.
Oh, boy, what a fraternity.
Oh boy. I wouldn't have said that.
I wish I would have seen the line of ladies lined up in front of there.
No.
We used to put this on in college and just get a cracker thrown in the middle of the room.
That's not good.
You know what I found funny a lot of times? I mean, we would listen to this in college, and everybody be into it, and we'd be, but you put on In Sync, or you put on another type of song, Backstreet Boys, and that was unacceptable. Girls, no. It's just the same stuff. This is the exact same. This is an In Sync song from 1987. It's the exact same type of music.
You grew up on the TRL era, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I
didn't have MTV in my house, but I had friends that we watched it. Yes.
Oh, perhaps a very religious home for Mark Dandereo, explaining why he would assume that's a good song because his limited exposure to popular culture.
Like the kid who would come over to your house who had never seen TV and then would laugh at the Three Stooges.
Yeah. It's like you're raising your kid to be almost like an alien.
I was jamming out to Come On Over Baby, Christina, on the way here.
Come on over.
Came on Pop 2K.
Baby.
Great video.
She became dirty. And then
Dirty.
I don't know what happened after that. She had that song.
That's a good.
She had that song where she's a genie in a bottle.
Yeah.
You got to rub her the right way. So does that mean you get wishes?
Yeah, all of the above, yeah. I mean,
I would say, if we're just going to keep it to, mainstream music, the Stained Been a While was very big.
Yeah. If you're going to keep it to music and you have to keep the conversation brief on the history of music.
But then we're gonna start and end this thing with Stained. It's been a while.
Yeah, let's take just crap. If you want to really begin and end with something just awful, a real cultural touchstone of things falling apart, a real harbinger of things to come, the death of rock music. Let's go to Stained, It's Been a While, which really did help signal in the death of rock music. Oh, Fred, what do you mean rock music's dead? Oh, look at any rock band that headlines a festival and what year they were formed. I guarantee you they were formed before Stained did. It's Been a While. In the wake of It's Been a While, rock music just ceased to exist. People said, that's enough. We've done.
I think we've exhausted this genre.
Yeah, it's gone so far. It's come completely back. But don't tell that to Singer the Stained, who's, his politics have changed in no way to capture an audience that might still listen to him. It's all very sincere, his political leanings.
The Stained been a while was very big.
I didn't like that. I like their harder stuff better. Mud Shovel.
Mud Shovel? Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Just Go was a good song.
So when did Nookie come out?
Significant Other, summer of 99.
Okay.
Okay, so he knows that off the top of that. Significant Other, 99. Big year. Big year. The year of the biscuit. Okay.
Some things you just know.
If there's a Limp Bizkit, if there's a horrible music category on Jeopardy, I'm running through this.
Moon Landing, 69. September 11th, 2001. Limp Bizkit, Significant Other, 99. Summer, June 18th.
Yeah, all pretty much up there in cultural touchstones for good or bad.
Significant Other, summer of 99.
Okay, so that was like...
That's the year I saw them.
Okay.
Just Like This.
Like this?
Yeah.
I
was talking about this a few weeks ago. It's a legit rap song.
Yeah, it really is. I'll tell you, Fred Durst it's like Nas, Biggie, Eminem, MF Doom, Fred Durst. He's acclaimed everywhere. Again, another guy that probably would go, I'm not so great at rapping. Like, I believe if you ask Fred Durst, who's taken to wearing costumes on stage, to act like he's been in on the joke the whole time, which you can't do. You cannot shout out Ben Stiller on a song and then, like, bang a bunch of groupies and make millions of dollars and then turn around when you realize how idiotic you looked and go, it was all a joke.
Just
no.
kidding.
You're not in on anything. You're not in on anything. You thought it was cool at the time. But I bet you if you would ask Fred Durst, the question, are you a good rapper? I think even back then he might have probably told you no. But he was able to get Snoop Dogg in a video, which is hard to do.
That guy just won't do anything.
No, not if you pay him. Not in the least.
Like, I know everybody wants to talk about Eminem. Fred Durst isn't a rapper. That was a legit rap song.
I will say this.
That was good. I don't want to hear this blasphemy. They're a great band, and their songs are still good. They're a great band, and they're excellent. End of discussion. Rollin', My Generation.
Teach me like a boy.
Living It Up. Awesome.
Oh, I knew that song. I know that whole album. Oh, my God.
Is it wrong to hate him at this point?
Well, when he is just issuing blanket statements about Limp Bizkit and saying the album is that their songs are good, no discussion allowed, and that they're an awesome
Well, that's the only way to win the argument.
Yeah.
Just to say there's
they're
no
an
discussion
awesome
allowed.
band, and these are timeless songs that they've created.
You do realize that this is not hyperbole, that the explosion of Limp Bizkit did mark the end of rock music being a valuable commodity to people, or in any way valuable in a mainstream cultural sense.
If they were so good, I have to wonder, why did DJs like you, Fred, refuse to play them? Why did my radio station in Las Vegas ban them from the airwaves? What was so good about them?
Well, I refused to play them, and their DJ said he was coming to the station to beat me up. And I sat around like an idiot for 8 hours waiting for him to come and fight me, and then he never came and fought me. It was his idea. He called in, and not on the air. Didn't want to come on the air. He called the front desk and said, who's this guy on the air? I'm going to come kick his ass.
You sat around for 8 hours because you were scared to go to your car?
I thought it sounded like I was tough. No, I sat around because I thought it would be the greatest thing ever to get hit by him. Because then I figured, what a career spike for me. Although I'll be on the news.
Maybe a few bucks.
Nah, I wouldn't have sued him. I really wouldn't have. I just was like, praying that he would come and hit me, because I was like, this is my Jim Rome, Chris Everett moment. With Jim Everett when he called him Chrissy.
It really would have been awesome though had he shown up and then started attacking you, and you just turtled and kept saying, "You still suck. You still suck."
Well, that was the plan.
It's awful.
That was the plan, because I figured he'd have incredibly strong wrists due to his consistent, necessary scratching on the Limp Bizkit songs, who obviously needed a DJ very badly.
So, what did you think of Nickelback when you first heard them?
Never had a problem with them.
And then they had How You Remind Me.
Another guy who wanted to kick my ass is Chad Kroger from Nickelback. Who, after I interviewed him, Chad Kroger from Nickelback's so dumb. I interviewed him, and then on the way at a festival, and then on the way away from me in the golf cart, realized I was making fun of him and turned around and tried to find me.
Why would you be making fun of this band?
Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Because he was a dick and they sucked.
Just playing the wrong.
Hard to make fun of someone to their face when they're cool. Like, you know, like he was a dick.
Never had a problem with them.
And then they had How You Remind Me.
How You Remind Me.
But
That's
that
the
was
one
the
I
next-
remember.
yeah, that was
That's
the
the one.
next
I don't remember the one
Never
before that.
made it as a wise man.
That's the one. I mean, that was one of those songs that if it was on the radio, I'd listen to it, but I never had it in my collection.
And then Creed. Did you like Creed?
Not as much.
I was a Creed guy.
No, I didn't like
could
it as
go
much.
from My Own Prison all the way to Weathered if you really wanted me to.
Which is a huge leap. I mean, the different genres.
It's like
were-
say you're sticking with John, Paul, George, and Ringo from Meet the Beatles all the way to the White Album.
Why? It's like when Dylan went electric at the Newport Folk Festival. I mean, did you stay with him? They went from muddy poo to diarrhea. It was very hard to follow their career. You can't imagine my shock when I started at 99X. I had no idea who Creed were, and I didn't know what alternative music was playing on the radio. I didn't know. I really didn't know.
What year did you start?
At like late 99, so like just say 2000.
Ooh.
I introduced Creed.
You should have known who Creed was.
Well, I didn't, and I did by this point. But when I introduced Creed in front of 100,000 people. I have a picture of it at a festival. When I heard Creed, and I'm like, I said to people at the station, I might have said it on the air, and I was new. This is alternative music. This would have been AM radio in 1972, and it's religious on top of that, which makes it 1,000 times dorkier. Because by nature of being Christian music, it's inherently bad.
Sure.
I mean, never good. Unless it's like some jazz guy that got sick of heroin for a second and made like Love Supreme or something. Then it's okay.
My Own Prison is, that was one of their original.
Rusted and weathered.
We on rusted and yes.
Remember the song "What If"?
What If?
It's like a soundtrack.
Yep. It had that nice little intro at the beginning. It's just like a.
No. There's music from that era that's in my wheelhouse. Far Behind by Candlebox.
Oh, Candlebox.
That's
Great
that's
one.
that era. I love that
Man.
stuff.
Yeah. Every DJ that had to play it 100 times loved it too. George, go ahead.
Yeah, I officially hate Creed. I lost my virginity when I was in high school with Creed, My Own Prison playing in the background. Let that run around your brains for a second.
Which was its intention as they falsely advertised themselves as a Christian band to get easy album sales. And the minute they got popular, pivoted and said that was never what our intention was. Well, it always was. George, I lost my virginity to the Ghetto Boys because I thought it would inspire me. That's what I put on because I was very nervous. And I thought their blend of misogyny might help me through the process. But it did not. It was an awful, awful time.
What album?
The one with Gangster Love on it. It might have just been called Ghetto Boys. I don't remember. It had Ephraim as the first song on it. Where that's the sample from Scarface. Nick, go ahead.
I was listening to that yesterday, and the best part was Dandereo started talking about Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park being the greatest album of all time and naming each of the songs and just getting so emotional about it. And Joe was kind of giving him the, all right, dude, settle down sort of tone. It was incredible.
Right. So Hybrid Theory is sold like 20 million copies. And I did really, really personally like the deceased singer from the band,
Chester Bennington.
Yes, he was very, very good guy, and I'm not just saying that because he's dead. As you know, I would not hesitate to say something bad about the dead, but he was a great guy, and it was a album that a lot of people loved. There's no question about it, but you're saying he was rhapsodizing about it.
I have him rhapsodizing.
Nick,
it was the greatest album ever.
Yeah, well, that's just
no
insane.
question.
Okay, again, I don't know if they would tell you that that's the greatest album of all time, but here we go.
And you said the Nevermind album is in your car.
In my car right now in the parking lot.
How novel.
With Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park. The only 2 albums I keep with me. Don't know why. Don't need the CD player, but they're there.
You always know Joe's alive.
The breathing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that's a sign to his family that he's okay.
I don't think so.
You never have to hold a mirror up to his nostrils.
No.
You don't have to watch his chest. You can hear him.
No, if there's a car accident, you know Joe's alive. I love it. He's got Dandereo showing some personality. You got to love Joey. He loosens everyone up. And they obviously have an audience because like 5 people emailed me about it. We got a caller that heard it. So they're doing good work on the weekend. Horrendous taste of music. I didn't even mind this song.
I didn't mind
when Stain first came out, that was their first single, and I thought they were fine. I mean, for what we were playing, I didn't mind that song at all.
But you go ahead and put this song in the category of songs I never need to hear again. I never, ever, ever want to hear that. I never want to hear Green Day, Welcome to Paradise. I never want to hear
anything by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, Scar Tissue, never, ever, ever again.
No, Californication, never, ever again.
Right.
Anthony Kiedis is a really bad person. Go investigate that for a moment. All right, we'll be back with our award-winning email segment in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps. They'll be right back on the Sports Hub.
All right, spring-like temperatures this week, which means you are way past the time to get your home fixed up. Because it's a thing.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. I will say this, and then I'll get done with the musical snobbery. We were talking off the air, like, that new metal era of music did kill rock music. There's no, like, real debate. It killed alternative radio, and it wasn't like people weren't listening to the radio anymore when that happened. It was, or not listening to music radio. People still listen to talk radio now. But the thing is that it unequivocally killed that format because people just stopped listening to it. And there are very few eras of music that are looked upon in recent memory as being devoid of good things. And the mid-'70s is one of them. And I have to believe that the early 2000s, maybe the mid-2000s will be looked upon as devoid of anything good. Because there's all these bands that formed in the late 70s that were like got really into music in the late 60s, early 70s, and then became completely frustrated with everything in the mid 70s and kind of went on to evolve the form in the late 70s. So there is that solid dead period. You have like Donny Osmond, Donnie and Marie had hits, like just, real garbage, like Bread and stuff, like had hits. Bread. Like these like just horrible bands. And that's how that will always be remembered. There will never be a time where that is remembered as being a culturally good period of time. So listen, our email segment, if you'd like to email us, go ahead, is powered by Jeffrey Glassman Injury Lawyers. I will tell you, as indifferent as I am to your emails, I do encourage you to, if you've been hurt in a car or work accident, to get Glassman. You got to get Glassman. Don't just send an email. Call all sevens at 617-777-7777 or visit gottagetglassman.com. This email has a good point. It's not one of the first ones, but it's the last one. I watched the Masters because of you. This is Mitch. Mitch says, I enjoyed mocking the Masters all week. You mocking the Masters all week, so I decided to sit down and watch it on Sunday. Holy crap, is it creepy. I started by playing Find the Brown Guy when they were doing crowd shots. I did not find one. Well, that goes without saying. By the way, the course looked like garbage. What's up with that? Mitch in New Bedford. What was up with that? Like, DA was at the Masters.
Yes.
He broadcast from there a couple more on Thursday and Friday, and they took pictures of like the course, and it's all like weathered and stuff. And this is before they started playing. There were like patches of discolored grass and stuff.
Did you see that when you were there, Hardy?
No.
But did you see that yesterday?
Patches of discolored grass.
Look at DA's Instagram account. Like it is kind of weird. Like it looks like a normal golf course. Wherever they are, it might not even be. It's probably not like a fairway, but it's on the grounds of Augusta.
All right.
And you would assume that everything would be pristine. He has a post where he puts up, a montage of images of him basking. They broadcast from there, Thursday and Friday, the DA and Babchek show. They do a morning show on satellite radio, and they were there. But somehow you couldn't pull that off for us.
No, I'm not seeing anything on his page about the Masters.
Religious songs are not all terrible. This is from Adam. Our God is an Awesome God and Dear God by XTC. Dear God, obviously, almost too blasphemous for me. Dear God by XTC. Well, there are two. That's pretty good. That is a incredibly anti-religious song.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that song either. I think it's a little. They have the kids singing on it, and I go, "Oh, you're trying
it's a little
too
too
hard."
Precious for you, yeah.
Yeah, and they wouldn't tour because he was too much of a chicken ass to get there on stage. Glasses McGee from XTC.
I'm a big XTC guy. I like a couple of songs.
They looked like too much.
King for a Day is a good song.
Two of the guys had bangs.
Yeah.
Long hair with bangs.
Pumpkin head.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't like making plans for
town.
We're only making plans for Nigel. Are you?
And then they have Mayor of Simpleton, which is not a bad song.
That's not a bad song.
No, but they go like, please be upstanding for the Mayor of Simpleton. And you're like, all right.
5 Cents is working overtime. Is that them?
Yeah, that's them too.
I don't know. What do I know?
Oh, that's cool. Okay. This is from Sue. A lot of people were sending this too. We mentioned the Bill Belichick, I think, earlier in the show, and managing the Savannah Bananas baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
Someone just asked, I wonder who's managing his schedule. And I think this is probably the only really interesting point about Bill, because you see the clips of him challenging a call, going out there and waving his little hat and doing everything that he's supposed to do as a celebrity manager of the baseball team. But yes, this is 100% Jordan saying, here's what we do.
Well, she was there. She was wearing a cutoff shirt, as were all the guys on the Savannah Bananas team, because, again, it is camp.
It is high camp.
It is high camp. It is like being at a bachelorette party. It is a celebration, a very fun celebration for lonely women and gay people. And that is what the Savannah Banana games are. And I'm saying that not as an insult. I'm saying that as a point of fact. They tie off their T-shirts. They get in a circle and they sing into the bat, I Will Survive. When I saw them, they sing the Gloria Gaynor song, I Will Survive, into a bat, which is something that you will see at a annoying bachelorette party.
A piano bar.
Or a piano bar, or any
Dueling
kind
pianos.
of like deliberately campy gay affair. Like that's just what it is. Now they're really cool, like when they flip and catch balls and stuff. But the majority of a Savannah Bananas game is like a high camp, like party for women and gay guys. That's just what it is. I mean, if you have a different opinion, I would like to hear it, but I don't really know where that would be coming from. They play disco music and dance in like syncopated dancing, like fun, silly syncopated dancing. That's not usually something that I would subscribe to a male audience. Terminator, it is not.
So Jordan is thinking, here's how the recruit. This is how you get.
Well, no, we can humanize Bill.
Yeah.
We can humanize Bill. We can get him on the side. Listen, it doesn't do him any harm. It doesn't do him any good. If he wants to go to a Savannah Bananas game, I mean, he has zero personality. He and the thing that he does that pisses me off. The thing that he does is pisses me off. I will say this about him at the Savannah Bananas thing. He cut the Savannah Bananas sweatshirt, like the sleeves off. So at what point is it that you're trying? Like if the whole idea is that you are so against the grain that you wear beat up sweatshirts while everyone else is dressed nicely in team clothes, well, now it's just an affectation of yours. And it's not even for, at this point, like some kind of superstition. This is now like your thing. So did you fashion your own Savannah Bananas sweatshirt? Did you cut the sleeves off to showcase your very giant male breasts? I don't know. But doesn't that like kind of annoys me? Because if the whole thing is that I'm this pretty much this vibe is like, I'm such a genius, I can't be bothered with things like clothes. Fair enough.
I don't care. But the second you go out of your way to do something, that shows that you do care.
Yeah, then you're like Fonzie, like who wore the same thing every day. Like he did it to be cool. So what is it? Like if you handed any of us or any of you in the audience a Savannah Bananas sweatshirt, like say they said, hey, Fred, go be the first base coach, I'd do it gladly. I'd get myself in front of 40,000 people. Absolutely. I'd throw the flag. I'm not above it. But I would take the sweatshirt and I would put it on as it was. I don't know if I'd have to. Now, I would not bend the brim of the cap, for I am a child of the 90s, and we did not do that. And you, younger people, cannot get on Instagram and try to claim credit for the non-bending of the cap. That I will not stand for.
What if you're Jim Gray and you're trying on caps and
you're pre-bending them?
Yeah.
We had a caller who, this is worth repeating. We had a caller that was at the Masters, a hero really, and he saw that someone was annoyingly hogging the hat section at the Masters pro shop, one of the pro shops, And you know how these places are zoos. And there's this big long line, and he's bending the rims of caps and trying them on. Trying on baseball caps. Trying them on. Like, oh, I don't know how this will look, you idiot. You can't look at a cap and think of how it will look on your head, you stupid idiot. Someone should just be able to tell you the color of a hat, and you go, good. And he was pre-bending the bill of the cap. And the guy was thinking about what he was going to say to him. And so he just said, the guys from 98.5, the Sports Sub, say hi or give their regards. And then he took off because the Masters will kick you out for farting. And he was wondering if Jim Gray knew what he was talking about, but I can assure you Jim Gray knew what he was talking about. That I can promise you. And that is not out of egotism. That is after the amount of hoops he tried to jump through to get me fired for being disrespectful to him. That's all. All right, thank you. We got someone being very critical of me saying that Dandereo shut down a conversation about music, saying that I do it all the time. But yes, but I'm right. You don't understand.
When your opinion is the correct one, you're allowed to do that.
Yes.
I know that's how you think.
Absolutely. All right. We will be back in just a moment, and we will take the ship to shore.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Mark Castle is goal.
It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
All right, it is time for the stack. All right, Zolak is in here. You can participate if you would like, Scott. But Joe has been texting with Adam and Ryan because Joe.
My man Joe?
Joe's a fan of this show. We are big fans of Joe. Everyone who listens knows I am a.
Love when I work with Joe. We have fun.
Oh, I
we
love
talk
it.
food. We talk music.
Joe is the perfect host.
We do no sports.
When you need a friend at night.
Joe's like, this is like, so you should try 5 hours by yourself. I'm like, no, thank you.
There is a big societal need for live radio, in my opinion, at night.
I agree.
And that is
Sure.
when you are driving at night alone.
Yeah, right here, me. Yep.
It is nice to know that there is someone up talking.
Yep.
It feels like there is like a friend in the car. And I'm not being sarcastic. I do think there is an actual societal value to that.
I listened to McCarthy and Michael Hurley, who's back with the station now on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They hired him back. I never had a problem with Hurley and never said a bad word about him during anything that he did. Never. I saw him at a Celtics game like 2 months ago. All right, we had a nice conversation. All right.
No more babies on the way, though.
Oh, no?
His kids are old now. Like, he's the one that took that maternity leave. Remember when Felger lost it?
Well, his wife's breasts were engorged with milk, as he described it, and she couldn't handle.
I remember getting in the
things
shower
completely alone
with my wife because she was in so much pain on it in Florida because of that same thing that you just described.
The breasts engorged with milk.
Oh my God!
Say it.
No,
it's a whole subgenre of adult erotica too.
It's a different way.
That very situation. You got to get the lead out, is what you're saying.
You gotta release it.
That's right.
Pop that balloon.
That's right. It's for the good of it's good for the good of the species. All right. So here is Dandereo. This Joe told us about this. This is Joe and Dandereo at the end of their show yesterday.
Pleasure to be with you. We're going to be doing a morning show.
Yes, I saw that. Looking forward to
on
it.
The holiday weekend.
Yep.
That should be fun.
Toucher. I don't know why he never wants to have me on, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
I think I've asked him. He doesn't want to do it. It's all right.
That's untrue. He's never asked me, but I have my people. I have, of course, Rochi, and I have Ryan Johnston.
No. Rochi's too easy because he just kisses your ass and you get to do this stupid baseball thing.
That's right.
You need to have just you three. You, Dandereo, and George.
What a show.
I tell you
what a show.
I would be on vacation and I would not go out with the family. I would stay. I would just listen to 4 hours of you three together.
I would too. I would show up, but not to
George
work.
picked
I'd
the
show up
music.
to watch.
George does the headlines. And Dandero's your sidekick.
I like that.
I would have no idea what was going on. I would feel like I was in an acid haze the entire time. It would be so surreal.
That would be amazing.
Great.
Yeah, let's not put this into motion.
I think it would be great radio.
Just once. Let's go. One time. Just rip takes and see what happens. But
Yeah,
You got to rip takes, Fred.
I have no takes to rip. No, I got
sports debate.
Rochi, Johnston. I would work with Holly at any point, but I've never had the opportunity. I like having Kendra in.
Bring Prairie.
Those are my
You
three.
never get a word in edgewise.
I couldn't have that for 4 hours. Callahan during football season or outside, but Roach, Johnston, and Kendra are the three. I gotta have my people. That's what I gotta do.
What if Jay Stu ran the board?
Jay Stu, but he'd have. I'd get a whole folder full of things to talk about before the show.
That would put George in here.
I like it. No, George makes me very uncomfortable. There's no need to have George in here. We can work with George, but George doesn't have to be in the studio. There's no need for that. Has George ever been in the studio when you've been on the air?
Call him in every day. Yeah.
No, but does he come into the studio? He takes a picture with you every time he
comes
does
in,
the
we
show
high
with you.
five, with chest bump, hug.
Chest bump. How's that happen? How do your chests hit each other?
Stands on a chair.
George gets a running start.
Favorite picture I ever took was between him and Reese, and they had their arms crossed. It was like me and the Oompa Loompas hanging out in the hallway out there.
You know who Reese is? Reese looks exactly like the guy that Elaine dates that they're not sure, where she's trying to find out what race he is.
Oh, yeah.
He almost looks exactly like that guy. Like, go watch that episode of Seinfeld, and it's nothing to do with the race thing. Reese. Never even occurred to me anything's going on, but he looks exactly like that guy.
Next time he's in, just say, "What are you?"
Yeah,
perfect.
I'll get a warranty
I'll text
card
him
and
after
try to
the show.
figure it out.
I'll text him after the show.
And he goes, Chinese, what? Just to screw with them. You know, I just watched the episode yesterday. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.